Hello, my name is Jason Lowry.
And I'm a spring-like Mark Toady.
And this is the Parkland Podcast.
It's the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. It's the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. They got plenty to say. They got plenty of heart. On the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. It's the Parkland Podcast. Yeah, the Parkland Podcast. It's the Parkland Podcast. Yeah, the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. Jason and Mark.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in a T-shirt for the Parkland Podcast, I don't think since August.
It's been a long time. I love this weather. It's nice and springy-like, 70-degree temperatures. The Cardinals won their season opener.
Yeah.
Life is good. We were on pace after Friday for 162-0.
It's going to happen. If a team can do it, it's this team.
Well,
Sorry. Episode 42 has a visit with Desloge Mayor Pete Pasternak. He'll be joining me in Desloge Park. We'll also finish visit with Mineral Area College President Dr. Joe Gilgore and St. Francis County Republican Committee Chair Kent Scism. All kinds of news, events, and interesting information coming up as well. But we want to thank our sponsors, Parkland Pharmacy, Discover Farmington, Save a Lot of the Parkland, Heimberger Construction, Hearing Care Partners, and Chris Morrison for Mayor of Farmington. Mark, we have election night coverage coming up on April 8th. It's presented by MacTech, the St. Francis County Republican Committee, Craig Wood, your shelter insurance agent, and Sonia Wilson with Triple Creek Realty. This is going to be exciting.
hello, Sonia, by the way, new advertiser to the podcast. We appreciate you very much. They do a great job at Triple Creek. Yeah, next week, elections, the elections that matter the most, really, for your day-to-day life, the local elections, the school boards, the mayor's races, the bond issues. Hopefully, we're going to have a good voter turnout and lots to talk about next Tuesday.
We'll have coming up in news a list again of those contested races. You can also find that information online. The St. Francis County Clerk's website has those sample ballots. You can vote right now. I mean, unless you're watching this, I guess, at 2 a.m., but Monday through Friday at Election Central.
No excuse voting.
No excuse voting. Just show up with your driver's license or, I guess, some form of identification, and you're good to go.
And I'm really glad the election is on April the 8th and not Tuesday of this week, because it would not be good to have an election on April Fool's Day.
Well, they can't verify it because people will be playing tricks.
And I was going to say, some people might say it's only apropos that you have an election, you elect political people on April Fool's Day, but I'm not one of those for the most part.
That joke is there. Oh, no, I forgot to give away our Bluegrass tickets on Facebook. So that is definitely happening this week, courtesy of Discover Farmington. So make sure you're watching that. A lot of action on our polls this week.
I saw that.
People getting in there and casting their ballot. Of course, we have the Prop F issue now up for Farmington. You can vote yes or no and see how people are voting with that. Of course, we have the mayoral polls up for Farmington, Desloge, and Park Hills. You can go back and vote if you haven't already. And I think what a lot of people like to do, they like to get on there and see who voted for whom. I think that's a pretty interesting thing. They like to snoop a little bit.
Yeah, then when you go somewhere and somebody from the other side gives you the stink eye, you'll know why.
That's exactly right. So check that out again. Great way to interact with the podcast, Parkland Podcast on Facebook, and do some voting and do some posting. What did you do this week, Mark Toady?
I had a big, long meeting with the United Way over at Serenity Hospice Care on the campus of Mineral Area College, interviewing a lot of the potential grant recipients.
Ooh, yeah, that is a long meeting.
That was a long meeting, but it was a good day. Heard some great stories about how that money is used. And then, of course, I attended the Farmington Regional Chamber of Commerce banquet, and more on that coming up throughout the podcast as well. All in all, a very good week, and just enjoyed the weather.
Oh, yeah, the weather was so nice. I was off. The wife was off. Spring break for us, our kids still had to go to school. I'm so sorry. They're going to get a longer break around the Easter holiday than we will. So it kind of works out, but we still get more time off. So that was very nice. Allowed me to work on the podcast a little more. Clean the house. That was the big goal.
Yep.
Kind of fell short in a lot of areas, but it was very nice and really enjoyed that opening day for the St. Louis Cardinals and a victory there. And what stinks, too, is the Blues are on an amazing run. At record time, they're sitting at a 9-game winning streak now. So, golly, it's a good time to be a sports fan, at least right now in St. Louis.
And, of course, the Sweet 16's been
Yeah.
there, down to the round of 64. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. The SEC conference looks to be, for the most part, as good as people had said they would, and some exciting basketball, too.
Yeah. Music trivia, or trivia of any sort, because you've been coming up with some really nice questions here lately.
Yes, we're going to go number one hits here.
Okay.
And some of these you may know, and some you may not. The Beatles' very first number one hit was...
I Want to Hold Your Hand?
Very good. Did you see my answer there?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
It wasn't blown up enough on your screen.
All right, how about the Rolling Stones? What was their first number one hit?
Oh, boy. Was it Let's Spend the Night Together?
No, it was not. I'll give you one more guess.
Satisfaction.
There you go.
Okay.
I will give you 2 for 2.
Okay.
All right. First number one hit for the Eagles.
Oh, boy. First number one hit for the Eagles. I know Hotel California was not a number one because it was in a number 2 show, Baby Boomers. Golly. I don't know. Best of My Love.
Best of My Love is it.
Oh, yes.
Best of My Love is it. By the way, another additional trivia question for everyone. The Eagles song, this Eagles hit, I should say,
Okay.
was originally titled Mexican Reggae.
Mexican Reggae. Would that be Hotel California?
That would be Hotel
Okay.
California.
Yes.
You're doing very good.
All right.
All right, this is a 2-part answer. The first number one hit for Queen. It was different in the United States than it was for their first number one hit in England.
Oh, so I have to name both? Like what was
If
number
you
one
get
in
one or the
England?
other, I'll...
Okay. I'm going to say We Will Rock You, We're the Champions. Does that count as one song, or is that...
Well, that's one song, but you're wrong.
I'm
so,
wrong on both
yeah,
those. Okay,
yeah.
so what was it?
Okay, the very first number one hit in the USA was Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
Yes.
And in England, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Ah,
Bohemian Rhapsody, number one hit 20 years apart, something like
yes.
that.
Because of the Wayne's World movie.
Because of the Wayne's World movie.
Party
and this
on.
is something I heard on the radio on the way over here.
Okay.
With your musical background and your wife's musical background, something you might find interesting. While there's no scientific basis for a toilet flushing in a specific musical note, a common humorous fact circulating online suggests that most toilets flush in the key of E minor flat.
Really?
Yes, I heard that this morning.
Huh. Interesting.
So there you go. When you get done, you eat your good dinner, maybe you can test that theory out. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe so. So there you go. That's some great music trivia there, and some trivia of
Toilet trivia.
toiletries. Toilet trivia. That'd be a great book. Totally awesome radio stories. Opening day just happened. When I worked at B104, we were a Cardinals affiliate, so
Got to go to the games?
we got to go to a lot of games. Not opening day. I never was able to pull that off. But we would do the broadcast from Busch Stadium on opening day, and they would open up Radio Row, where all of the radio and TV booths are set up in Busch Stadium, and they would invite Cardinal affiliates to come up there. and then they'd have the local TV stations. They would be down on the lower level of the stadium, and the Cardinals would bring around different people to speak with you about different things. They'd always have a broadcaster, maybe a former player, and then they'd have like the person in charge of the concessions, a person in charge of the giveaways, and then they would just come in like a little 15-minute, spans throughout, and you got to do a morning show basically from Busch Stadium on opening day. So that was always a lot of fun. I listened this past year, and Jared Pettis was at Busch Stadium doing the remote, and I remember, I think it was his senior year of high school, he rode with me, and I took him like as an intern because all the other guys that I worked with at that time were super lazy, and they weren't Cardinal fans, so they didn't want to go wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and do this. So I took Jared with me, and it was nice to listen to him do that broadcast this year. You remember? Did you do anything special for opening day or anything?
When I was a kid, I went to opening day quite a bit with my dad and my grandpa and my brothers.
Wow!
But I don't remember if this was an opening day story or not. But a whole group from the radio station went to a Cardinals game. For some reason, I was thinking it was opening day, but I don't think it really was. But one of our guys was, how shall we say, overserved.
Overserved. Okay, that's a good way.
And he ended up spilling his beer on the lady in front of him.
Oh, no.
She was not amused.
Yeah.
And she called over the ushers, and there was a big to-do, and they finally agreed to move the lady down to like right behind the Cardinals dugout.
Oh, wow.
Which was very nice for her.
Yes.
We came to find out she was the wife of the mayor of St. Louis.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And one of our guys from the radio station spilled a beer all over
Sorry,
her.
was it Francis Slay? Was it Francis Slay's wife?
Could have been.
Yeah, right around that era.
It was 20 years ago,
Yeah.
so
Wow.
it's like, oh, there you go. Anheuser-Busch
man.
product all over the First Lady of St. Louis.
Yeah, well, she's probably, it's like a perfume for her, I
Well.
would assume.
It was for me, but that's another story for another time.
And those are some totally awesome radio stories.
David Easter is running for mayor of the city of Park Hills. For almost 20 years, David has been serving the city as a former mayor and current alderman. David Easter has overseen big improvements during his time in office and has always been open-minded and accessible to the residents of Park Hills. As a small business owner who understands what it takes to be financially responsible, David Easter will always make sure your tax dollars are working as hard as they can for you. Vote David Easter for Mayor of Park Hills on April 8th, paid for by David Easter.
Pete Pasternak is asking for your vote for re-election as mayor of Desloge. Pete has always put the citizens first. During Pete Pasternak's tenure as mayor, the city has made major strides like a full-time fire chief, infrastructure improvements, and new businesses. As mayor, Pete continues to fight to eliminate trash fees for residents and keep the city working efficiently with your taxes. His work on the Eastern Outer Road is almost complete. Let's let Pete finish the job. Vote Pete Pasternak for mayor of Desloge. Paid for by Pete Pasternak.
Farmington's future is bright, and Chris Morrison is ready to lead the way as your next mayor. He's focused on working with regional partners to bring new opportunities to town while still supporting the small businesses that make Farmington special. Chris has a plan to invest in infrastructure so we can grow the right way, keeping our city safe, connected, and thriving. He's all about real solutions and real collaboration, bringing people together to create community-minded, compassionate change. Listen, lead, deliver. Vote Chris Morrison for mayor of Farmington on April 8th, paid for by Chris Morrison.
Here's your latest news from the Parkland podcast.
The city of Bismarck is mourning the passing of a city official. Ward 1 Alderman and former police chief Dan Smith died March 13th at the age of 69. Smith will remain on next month's ballot as he was set to run unopposed.
Early voting continues in St. Francis County, and the municipal election is coming up April 8th. There are several contested races on the ballot, the biggest the mayoral races in Farmington, Park Hills, and Desloge. In Farmington, Mitt Landrum and Chris Morrison are running for the office. In Desloge, Pete Pasternak is being challenged by Bob Monks. And in Park Hills, Stacy Easter is facing challenges from David Easter and Danny Nockey. North County and West County have school board races involving 3 candidates for 2 positions. In North County, Stella Hubbard, Jibo Bullock, and Brian Whitfield are on the ballot, while in West County, Tiffany Wright, Sean Minershagen, and Jared Lynch are on the ballot. 2 rural communities will try to establish fire districts, the Big River Fire Protection District and Terre de Lac Fire Protection District. Will ask voters to approve a tax levy that would eliminate the need for fire tags. Both districts would also need to establish boards, so voters in those districts will also choose members to serve terms.
In addition, the city of Bonne Terre features 2 contested alderman races with Bill Stegall against Bruce Pratt for Ward 1 and Ian Smith and Ryan McClure in Ward 3. The city of Desloge has contested races in all 3 wards. Keith Probst, John Wigger, and Jacqueline Nipper are running in Ward 1. Rod Crabtree and Joan Kelly in Ward 2, and Travis Cruz and Ronald Kinney in Ward 3. And the city of Park Hills features 3 contested council races. Alan Coleman and Alyssa Fenris are running for Ward 1. Tom Abel faces Sidney Penberthy in Ward 3, and Donna Detmer and Drusilla Nick in Ward 4.
In Farmington in Ward 4, Vanessa Pegram faces Logan Bryson, and a 1-year term in Ward 1 is between Jessica Layton and Joshua Smith. And voters in the Farmington School District will vote on Propositions F and S. Prop F is a no-tax bond issue to build a performing arts storm shelter at the high school and other district-wide improvements. And Prop S would be a tax levy increase for raises for faculty and staff.
And the Farmington Regional Chamber of Commerce held its annual Celebration of Success Awards banquet this past Friday. Among those receiving awards, Colton Vincent won the Youth Leadership Award. Dr. Rhonda Moffett, the Tradition and Progress Award. The Business of the Year went to Rob's Guns. The 110% Award was presented to First Walk. The Rising Star went to The Stables. The Spirit of Generosity was presented to Lisa Brotherton Barnes. The Citizen of the Year, Ronnie Du Bois. And the Lifetime Achievement Award went to Chip and Debbie Peterson. And we had the chance to catch up with Chip and Debbie following the banquet on Friday night at Mineral Area College. Well, it is our pleasure to visit with Chip and Debbie Peterson. They were presented the Lifetime Achievement Award at this past weekend's Farmington Regional Chamber of Commerce Awards ceremony. And first of all, congratulations. So well deserved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It kind of like the boys got me here. They told me that Debbie was getting an award, so I needed to come and get her here.
And they told me Chip was getting an award. I need to make sure we got him here.
I said, well, it's about time she got an award. And I was all excited to jump up and down. Then they said team. I was like, oh, no.
You knew something was up when Harry and Parks brought their little 1-week-old babies to this thing, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I first thought it was going to be like a most grandchildren award, but I think we're in the running.
Well, what was it like to hear your names announced like that?
Really special. You know, I'm listening, thinking, oh, that's kind of nice. And then a couple things started to hit. It's like, well, it's going to be Debbie, but then they said the team, and it was really special, you know. And usually I like to get up and joke and talk and whatever, but it got almost a little bit emotional there because which is good. It made the night shorter.
Debbie, you don't do things so people will say, wow, you're great, but it is nice to be recognized for what you do.
You know, I'm still absorbing it. This room was full of people very deserving of those awards, and I think it took my breath away when it was us, because this community is full of people that are so willing to give back and help in the community.
You know, Leah said it, and that's what I said too. And you know, you take one person out of this room, and the community's not the same. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's nice that you pick out people and you give out awards, and that, I think it makes for nice evenings. But with that, everybody in this room plays a role, and the community's not the same without everybody in it, and that, which is what makes this community so great. We've got so many people that behind the scenes do so much. So.
Well, and our success is because of this community.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know, when you think of the Petersons, for a lot of people, the first thing you think of is the big Christmas dinner, but there's also the Maple Valley Shopping Center. But there's so many little untold things that you all get involved in that if people sat down and looked at all those, they'd really be impressed.
Well, I don't know. You do the things that you enjoy and you feel like you can have an impact on. And I always told Debbie, I was always torn being on college boards and business things. And I had two grandfathers. One was a superintendent of schools, and one was really an uneducated businessman. And I said I was always kind of torn between the two, so it kind of gave me a little piece of both of them.
So what's the future hold now? You've done so much, and you guys are still young.
Well, with 10 grandkids, we're kind of starting to think maybe we might be a little older than we think.
You can't retire. You've got too many Christmas gifts to buy, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right. We're very blessed.
Well, normally you get these, these lifetime achievement awards are usually after you're dead, so I'm going to really drive careful going home.
But Farmington is a great community, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's why we chose to come back. We wanted to be a part of this community and raise our children here, and
when Chip said about when we looked at each other, we were home visiting, and we were down when they used to do the walking parade. Mm-hmm. And it was a Norman Rockwell picture, looking down, the lights were glistening, and he looked down at me and said, "This is where we got to raise our kids." Yes!
And the rest is history.
The rest is history. Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, congratulations on a well-deserved award, and thank you for everything you've done for this area.
Well, thank you for everything you've done. I've told you this 100 times, more than that, but you've been such a huge part of this community and supportive in so many ways of everything. A lot of things can't happen without you, and you've been so supportive on the air all the time, and that unbiased, very neutral, never worried about giving you any information, any kind of an interview, because I knew it would be right and be precise, and if I said something had to be undercover for a while, I knew that was the case. So
yes, it would be.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate your friendship.
And you are one of those workers in this audience that deserves that award as much as anybody.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you all. Again, Chip and Debbie Peterson, winners of the Lifetime Achievement Award at this year's Farmington Regional Chamber of Commerce banquet.
And that's your news on the Parkland Podcast.
Meet Stella Hubbard, a proud advocate for North County schools from a family rich in Raider pride. With a background in mental health and school counseling, her career and volunteer work reflects Stella Hubbard's commitment to ensuring every student has the resources to thrive. Stella Hubbard is a strong advocate for students and teachers dedicated to maintaining fiscal responsibility and always committed to transparency. Vote Stella Hubbard for North County School Board on April 8th. Paid for by Stella Hubbard.
Keith Probst wants to be your next alderman in Ward 1 in Desloge. Keith Probst is a lifelong resident and believes that Desloge has a bright future. Keith wants to bring a new sense of pride to the city and its residents. Keith Probst is a proven leader who will make sure police, fire, and city workers are well taken care of and have the resources they need to keep the city great. Keith Probst will always listen to the citizens and make sure their concerns are heard. Vote Keith Probst for Ward 1 Alderman in the city of Desloge. Paid for by Keith Probst.
Hi, I'm Dr. Karen Melton with Hearing Care Partners. Hearing loss doesn't just affect your ears, it impacts conversations, relationships, and daily life. Do you catch yourself nodding along but missing the words? Are you straining to hear in crowded spaces? Don't ignore these signs. If you notice them, come see us. At Hearing Care Partners, our expert team makes it easy to find personalized solutions. A simple test could change everything. Visit hearingcarepartners.com to book your free hearing evaluation today. At Hearing Care Partners, we listen so you can hear.
Time to check events. That's brought to you by Discover Farmington, more than you ever imagined. DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com allows you to find out more about entertainment, dining, outdoor activities, wineries, and more.
Farmington, Missouri, your destination for a perfect weekend getaway. Dine in at one of our quality restaurants or visit one of our surrounding wineries. Farmington offers a variety of parks and other recreational leisure time activities. See some sights, have some fun, and go wherever your heart takes you. Sounds like a lot of fun, so get a room and stay a while. All this and more awaits you just 60 miles south of St. Louis. Discover Farmington today.
There's a busy Wednesday coming up. Mom's Cafe will offer up a free meal at the Memorial United Methodist Church. There's also a spring hiring event on Wednesday, April 2nd from noon to 4 at the Mineral Area College Tech Center.
Park Hills Meet the Candidates Forum is Thursday, 6 o'clock at Central High School, presented by the Park Hills Leadington Chamber of Commerce.
Can't get enough of that good Lenten time fish. Oh, there's another fish fry at local Catholic churches. St. Joe in Farmington, Immaculate Conception Church in Park Hills, both starting at 4 this Friday.
How about breakfast with the Easter Bunny on Saturday at the White Magnolia Banquet Hall? That's in Leadington, goes from 9 to 11 a.m. Pictures with the Easter Bunny also available, with proceeds benefiting the Feed My Sheep fundraiser.
Lots of things going on April 5th. Speaking of Feed My Sheep, trivia night that night at 6 at the First United Methodist Church in Park Hills to benefit Feed My Sheep. And then the History of Country Music takes place Saturday at 2 p.m. and 7 at the Centene Center.
And it's also opening day for the Farmington Empire Speedway. That'll be happening all day at that facility.
Hey, there's a big event coming up, babbling about Broadway, that you're excited about.
Yeah, my wife's in that. She's the host. It's a musical review April 11th, 12th, and 13th at Long Hall.
More Than Just a Man, the musical at the First Baptist Church in Farmington on North A Street is April 11th, 12th, and 13th, starting at 7:30.
You're going to be helping out at the 26th Annual Health and Resource Expo. That's April 12th from 8 to noon at Mineral Area College.
That is also the same day for Feed My Sheep in
boy.
Desloge. And I'll be at both those events.
Yeah. So if you want to see Mark Toady, go to both those events. Feed My Sheep happening at the community center there at the Desloge First Baptist Church. Getting you ready for Easter, the Desloge Community Easter Egg Hunt is April 16th. Family tradition in my house, 4 o'clock, Desloge Park, presented by the Desloge Library Board.
Shout out to Ursula Warren at the Farmington Senior Center. They're putting on a Good Friday cinnamon roll fundraiser. $18 a dozen, $8 for a box of 4. Call 756-1376 to reserve your order now.
Boy, they are good. Farmington Bluegrass Concert Series continues featuring Barnum Jack. That's April 25th, 7 o'clock at Long Hall. Check the Facebook page. Maybe you could win tickets courtesy of Discover Farmington.
And from Bluegrass to the Beatles, Elvis Meets the Beatles, April 26th, 7 p.m. at the Centene Center. Tickets are $20 in advance, $30 at the door.
You'll save money if you purchase in advance, and that number is 7560900 to get those tickets. And get those tickets now for that History of Country Music. Your events are brought to you by Discover Farmington. Find out about local events. Even book a wedding or day trip today at discoverfarmingtonmo.com. Save a lot of the Lead Belt. They are located in Bonne Terre, DeSoto, Potosi, Park Hills, Farmington. We get the alerts. I think it's every day that we record. I get a text.
Some Saturdays, yes.
Yeah. You get that alert from Save a Lot, and then they got the little scratch-off cards. Those are so much fun.
They have great produce. You know, they go through all their produce, and they look at it before they put it out to make sure it's the freshest, the best produce that they can serve to their customers. I love that about that store. The great service they give, the great attention to detail, and then don't get us started on the meat department.
Oh, man. Yeah. They were part of my opening day barbecue, and the brats and the pork steaks were fantastic. And just don't stop there. There's so many great meat selections available for you. The 5 for $24.99, still a great deal. Every once in a while, you might get lucky, and one of those days it's a 6 for $24.99, which is like free bonus meat. Check it out. Save a lots of the Lead Belt. Bonne Terre, DeSoto, Potosi, Park Hills, and Farmington. Mark and I are clients of Parkland Pharmacy. They are local pharmacy at its finest. He hangs out at the Farmington store. I drive through the Desloge store. Sometimes I go in too. And they take really good care of us, don't they?
They're like the Cheers of pharmacy because everybody knows your name. I go in there and I bet 3 or 4 people say, "Hey, Mark. Hi, Mark. How you doing, Mark?" And it makes me feel good to know that I matter and that I get personal one-on-one service when I get my prescriptions filled, or if I'm there just to pick up some aspirin or some emergency or any of the other hundreds of things they have available. I love the personal service you get at Parkland Pharmacy.
Fredericktown and Desloge stores will be participating in a drug take-back day. That's on April the 26th. And if you have that unused medication, you can bring that in. And again, that's part of the commitment of Parkland Pharmacy to take care of the community as a whole.
Great place to do business. Great community partners. Parkland Pharmacy throughout the area.
Desloge, Farmington, Fredericktown, Ironton, Piedmont, and Greenville. Local pharmacy at its finest. Let's do birthdays on the Parkland podcast. Birthdays for the week of March 31st. How do you get birthdays to us? Well, message us on Facebook, on TikTok, jkldigmed@gmail.com. I didn't really think that email address out too well. I should have made it something like a lot easier, like email birthdays or something. Maybe I'll create that. Then I got to remember to check it. Oh, well, so let us know about your birthdays. We would love to wish you a happy birthday and hope you are enjoying these birthdays this week.
Quick reminder, get us the birthdays about a week in advance.
Oh, yes.
Because we record a week in advance
Yes,
as well.
yes, that's true. And that does happen, unfortunately, sometimes. So, yeah, very good on the disclaimer there. All right, Monday, March 31st. Who do you know that has a birthday?
Well, we talk a lot about our favorite people on the podcast, and we have a lot of favorite people, but these guys really are amongst our favorite people to talk about. One is David Cramp.
Yes.
David Cramp, my gosh. How do you know him best? As the baseball coach of the state champion Farmington Knights back in the 80s, as a school administrator and superintendent, as a St. Francis County commissioner, or just an all-around great dude. I used to love it when I was broadcasting baseball games and Farmington would play Central, and two of my favorite coaches, David Cramp and Mike Bouchard, would go at it.
Oh, yeah.
It was like watching two Whitey Herzogs manage in those games, and they were always some battles. So, Coach, happy birthday to you. I hope you're doing great. And our good buddy, Tony Smith, former overnight guy at J98 Radio, proud owner of the only person to ever own a pith helmet that I've ever known. Happy birthday, and he actually wore it into Spokes Pub and Grill.
Yeah, he did.
Happy birthday to you, buddy. I hope you are doing great. He's married and doing great in St. Louis.
I am forever in debt to Tony Smith because
got you off overnight.
He got me off overnights. You had to hire somebody. It's like, and I mean, I kind of pretended like I was going crazy. I brought the cardboard cutouts downstairs and started talking to him just to try to do anything I could to get off that overnight shift. And finally, when Tony Smith appeared at J98, I was able to do that. Also celebrating a birthday on Monday, Keegan Gabor, former student of mine at the Unitech Career Center. Happy birthday, Keegan. I believe this is his 21st birthday.
Any relation to Jaja or Ava?
You know, he got that question all the time. And
probably didn't know who they were at the time.
Well, he did some research because he kept getting, all these old people kept asking him. So he did look that up. Absolutely. Happy birthday, Keegan. Hope you have a great day. Who do you have for Tuesday, April 1st? Who are the April Fools' birthdays?
The First Lady of the Help the Hungry Bake Sale and Auction, Chris Landrum.
Yes.
Celebrates a birthday today. Chris, I hope you are doing fantastic. Her and her husband, Mitt, have done so much to help this community over the years. I hope you have a great day. The Help the Hungry Bake Sale has raised well over $1 million since it first started. I think they're going on year number 20 next year, and it's been a blast to be a part of that in some small way. Speaking of being a part of a lot of good things, Dottie Fritchie celebrates a birthday. She's a North County girl, right?
She is.
Yes, I know her daughter as well. She works over at Midwest Sports Center. But I see Dottie, if I don't see her at all, I will see her every year at the big Christmas dinner put on by Chip and Debbie Peterson. And she was always there. She's always there helping out with the desserts. Dottie, happy birthday to you from all of your family. My good buddy, Mike Zeracor.
Yeah.
Mike works for First State Insurance Agency. We used to bowl together.
I bet he's pretty good.
He was pretty good. He was our best bowler, but he likes to drive fast. And I remember coming home from Springfield in a Elks bowling tournament. Mike was going, let's just say, well over the posted speed limit.
Yeah.
And I was in the front seat with him, and our buddy Stacy Johnson was in the back seat sleeping. Mike was going extremely fast, and that was in the parking lot. And then he got even faster, and about halfway home, I think we were still on Interstate 44. And I mentioned we were going well over the posted speed limit.
Yeah.
Stacy wakes up in the back seat and says, "What's going on, guys?" And I said, "Buddy, you don't want to know." And he went back to sleep. We got on Highway 8. That really didn't slow Mike down at all.
Yeah.
And I said, "Mike, if you get us through this, that's great. But if we all die here, I'm haunting your family for the rest of your life." I remember telling him that. It's a 4-hour trip from Springfield to Farmington. We made it in under 3 hours.
Wow.
So anyway,
gosh.
but he's a great dude. Mike, happy birthday to you. And Karen Green, happy birthday to you from all the Bellevue clan. They faithful listeners to us on the radio. Her and her mom, Miss Ruby, and everyone else, happy birthday to you, Karen. Hope you're doing great.
My cousin Kay Beard with a birthday on April Fool's Day. That makes sense. That adds up. Happy birthday, Kay. No, just kidding. Whitney Schaff with a birthday. Happy birthday, Whitney. Shelley Tracy.
Hi, Shelley.
Shelley, former North County School Board member. Happy birthday to you. And Ashley Litton. Interviewed Ashley many times, I believe, with the Parkland Pregnancy Resource Center back in the day. So happy birthday to Ashley. What about Wednesday, April 2nd? Who are your birthdays for that day?
Oh, she's a lead. This is a musical edition of birthdays. Colleen Mitchell.
Yes.
Celebrating a birthday. There are singers, and then there's Colleen. Boy, can she sing.
She's so nice and positive, too. One of the most positive people you'll ever meet.
Happy birthday to you, young lady. Happy birthday wishes to a lean, mean guitar-playing machine. Well, maybe not so lean anymore. Shannon Cox, happy birthday to you. I hope you have a great day. He can flat out play the guitar.
Yeah, you're right about the latter too. He's not as lean as he used to be.
And then there's his buddy Eric that plays the harp.
Yeah,
the harmonica.
Yeah, the harmonica
when
with
they
the
get
balloon.
Together, man, they
Eric
are
Thompson.
just awesome. Eric Thompson.
Oh, yeah.
Happy birthday to Terry Moss. They used to do a feed the families bake sale in Fredericktown, which was similar to Help the Hungry, and she was always in charge of that. And I'd interview her on the radio, and I'd help with the auction. Terry, I hope you're doing great, keeping Al on the straight and narrow. And Jessica Herwig has done a lot of great work with the mental health field. Happy birthday to you. I hope you are doing fantastic.
Jennifer Cooper celebrating a birthday on Wednesday. Happy birthday, Jen. Hope it's a great day for you. Lindsay Matthews, she's the counselor at the Unitech Career Center. Lindsay, happy birthday to you. Serena Belt with a birthday on Wednesday. Happy birthday, Serena. And a dude I went, I think, all the way through school with, all the way back from Desloge Elementary to North County High School, Ramey Haffertappy with a birthday. How about that for a name?
I bet he got some nicknames, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, there were quite a few. He's an awesome guy, though. Happy birthday to you, Remy. Hope you have a great day. What about Thursday, April 3rd?
By the way, Remy, I can feel for your last name. With the last name of Toady, 4 letters, 87 pronunciations. So I get it. Trust me. Thursday, the girl that keeps Chris Bullock on the straight and narrow.
Yes.
Robin Bullock celebrates a birthday. We used to play volleyball on the same night, and Chris and his wife were on one team, and I was on the other. And we won more than we lost. But they were really good, and they were a lot of fun just to hang out with. So, Robin, I hope you're doing great, and happy birthday wishes to you.
Got to work with her at Unitech, I think, for a year and a half.
Awesome gal.
And, yeah, just super cool.
And also Phyllis LaPlante, happy birthday to you. From all of your family, I hope you are doing fantastic, and I hope you have a great birthday.
A person I know you know well from Relay for Life, very active for many years with that. Jan Hawkins celebrating a birthday on Thursday.
Hi, Jan.
Happy birthday to you from the hubby and the kids and the grandkids, that big family you have. Looking great. Happy birthday to you. And Brittany Wood, Brittany, coach at North County basketball. I think she does a great job. Happy birthday to her on Thursday. What about Friday, April 4th? Who are your birthdays?
Friday, happy birthday to Matt Pratt. I've known Matt since he was about 21, 22
Right,
years old with Canyon. Still sings.
Still things. Probably not as lean and mean as he used to be. He's leaner?
He's fared a lot better over the years than Shannon has, let me tell you. He's a good dude, though, Matt. He can flat out sing. I hope you are doing great. Happy birthday. Boy, if I had $1 for every time I've introduced Canyon on stage, I'd be semi-wealthy.
I know, right?
Who else? How about Beth Stroop? She goes to St. Paul Lutheran Church. Her husband, Chris, does a mean Larry the Cable Guy impersonation. And I hope you have a happy birthday wish. That's from Chris and your 2 daughters and all your family. Trey Danley, happy birthday to you, the heir apparent at Gifford Lumber Company.
Oh, boy.
If he could ever get his dad to retire, which I don't think will ever happen. Trey, happy birthday to you, buddy, from all of your family. And Lindsay Williams, happy birthday to you. That's from your husband and your daughter and your mom, Miss Tammy, and me and all of your friends and family. Happy birthday to you, Lindsay. He's just got married about 3 or 4 months ago. Hope you're doing great.
Congratulations. I want to wish a happy birthday to one of my top students, Mr. Corbin Halfley. Corbin, a great kid, turning 17 on Friday. Happy birthday to you. His classmate Michael made a joke about Corbin, and he said, Mr. Lowry, what do you call 2 Corbin Halfleys? And I go, well, I don't know. He said, Corbin Holy.
Oh, bro.
I know, right? I was so proud of him. So proud of him. Jake Caven celebrating a birthday on Friday. Jake, North County guy, now Bismarck dude, has the lawn business all over the place. Jake, happy birthday to you from the wife and the kids. Rebecca Elders. Rebecca works at Farmington High School. She is very, very good at her job. Happy birthday, Rebecca. I hope you have a great day. Hunter James, poor old Hunter James, when he was a senior at Unitech, he was basically given to me to help me with computer stuff. And the poor dude, the first day, came into my class and he said, Mr. Lowry, I've been sent down to help with any kind of computer stuff that you need. And I heard you got a laptop that is acting up. And I go, oh, yeah, here it is. I hand it to him. And he goes, well, I'll just need to know the password. And I was like, oh, crap.
Yeah, that never works for me.
Yeah, so I had to tell this poor kid my password, which was pretty embarrassing. And he just kind of rolled with it. And then after that, he has gone on to do some amazing computer stuff. And North County still has him on the payroll to help run the scoreboard every year. Does awesome stuff. Happy birthday, Hunter. Hope you have a great day. And then I saved this one for last, Mark. Steve Martin's birthday.
He's a wild and crazy guy.
He is. Steve Martin, this is not the famous Steve Martin, although this Steve Martin's pretty famous.
Rita might disagree.
Yeah,
with you.
Rita probably would. Rita Martin's husband, Steve. Steve's been... Oh, gosh, I think he was an alderman at one point in Desloge, and he's been on a lot of different boards and has done a lot of great volunteer work. And I'm sure that he's okay because he would have went by Steven, I think, if he had a problem with Steve Martin, the comedian, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess. I wouldn't mind being known as Steve Martin.
Yeah. It seems like a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
Very funny, a wild and crazy guy. Happy birthday, Steve. Hope it's a great day for you. What about Saturday, April the 5th?
Saturday, Dave Warner celebrates a
Yes.
birthday. Honest to goodness, I have never seen Dave without a smile on his face.
Yeah.
But if you look at his Facebook page, most of the pictures he has on there, he's drinking wine. So that may
maybe. Hey,
they
you never
may
know.
go together there. So anyway, Dave, happy birthday to
buddy.
you. He's a lean, mean real estate machine. Works out all the time at the Farmington Civic Center. I hope you're doing great. Donna Thurston celebrates a birthday.
Yay.
I have known Donna for over 30 years now. And yet she could still pass for 30 years old. That's how well she has aged. I think she still works at Dr. Lum's office. So, Donna, happy birthday wishes to you. I hope you're doing great. And Jamie Duger, happy birthday wishes to you. I've known Jamie for about 20-some-odd years. She's been a server at many different restaurants around the area. Does a fine job. So, Jamie, happy birthday to you.
Joni Peppers, happy birthday to you, Joni. St. Francis County Sheriff's Office. Chrissy Lawson. Chrissy has been a loyal listener of B104 and the podcast forever. Her husband, Carl, of course, was the lead singer of Medallion. Carl. And so happy birthday, Chrissy. And I hope it's an awesome day for you. Adrian Behringer went to high school with Adrian.
She was a basketball player, I believe.
Different one.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a different one. Adrian would find that very funny that you would have said she was a basketball player. Like, wow, hey. But happy birthday to her. And then Sunday, April 6th, I got some good ones. I bet you do too.
Sunday, big time sponsor of the podcast, and just an all-around awesome gal, Karen Melton. Happy birthday wishes to you. She is so nice.
Yeah.
Back in November, the Farmington Chamber auctioned off some desserts for the Help the Hungry bake sale, and Karen Melton was one of the biggest supporters of that. And then at the last Farmington Chamber meeting, Glenda Strawn was there representing Feed My Sheep, and she brought in a dessert. Guess who bought that cake?
Karen Milton.
Karen Melton. And guess what she did with it?
She gave it to you.
No, she sliced it all up, and it gave everybody a piece that wanted a piece. What a nice lady. I have always heard that she was a very nice lady. Hearing Care Partners. But she really is. So happy birthday to you, Karen. Chastity Corbin, Chastity Lawson. I'm not sure which one she likes to go by. Either
Facebook
way,
says Lawson, so that's what I rolled with.
That's fine with me. Chastity, she's been on the podcast a couple of times. She has her own business now. She's helping businesses market themselves and does a great job. And she's given us some advice. I know she works with Save-A-Lot quite a bit. Chastity, hope you're doing great. Happy birthday to you. And my buddy Chip Marler celebrates a birthday today. That's from your wife and your family. He has a food truck called Concessionaire Extraordinaire, and they serve up some of the best food you will ever have. So if you're ever at the Desloge Labor Day picnic or Country Days and you see Concessionaire Extraordinaire, they're the folks to see.
My favorite are where they take the potato and they cover it in cheese.
Like the curly fries with cheese.
Oh, man. They do that better, I think, than anybody else.
They're fantastic.
Very, very good. And those are your birthdays for the week of March 31st here on the Parkland Podcast. Heimberger Construction, HeimbergerConstruction.com, the website. Boy, they are such great people. They know their stuff, and they're ready to work with whatever kind of construction you need.
Jenny is so busy, Jennifer Heimberger, the owner of Heimberger Construction, because they're doing jobs all around the area, and that is just a testimony to the quality work they provide. If you are adding on to your business and you want to work with the right people, call Heimberger Construction. They have years of experience, and they don't just do work here locally. They are all throughout the Midwest because they have a great reputation. They are solid. They were here yesterday, they're here today, and they'll be here tomorrow.
And they use those Butler buildings because they're the best metal building system on the market and the only buildings that have that pre-punched roof system and standard 360-degree roof seam for their standing seam roof. And Butler Buildings, too, Mark, I did some research. They are a Missouri-based company as well. So you're using not only a quality company like Butler Buildings with Heimberger Construction, you're also keeping your money right here in the state of Missouri, too. So that's very good. Check them out. They've been around since 1978, HeimbergerConstruction.com. We check sports on the Parkland podcast on Monday. Softball finals. Central beats Valley Catholic. West County a winner over Bismarck. Potosi tops Arcadia Valley. And St. Genevieve shuts out Kingston. Baseball games from Monday. Fredericktown a winner over St. Vincent. West County shutting out Clearwater. Bismarck defeats Grandview. And St. Pius gets past Potosi. Girls soccer, Hillsboro blanks Fredericktown. Boys tennis, Farmington beats Arcadia Valley. Potosi gets past Crystal City. And in boys golf, Potosi loses to St. James. Tuesday, baseball, Potosi over Cuba. Arcadia Valley beats Jefferson. Fredericktown shuts out Crystal City. And Perryville blanks Central. St. John a winner over Deschênes. Hillsboro beats North County. And Valley of Caledonia shuts out Stillville. Softball, St. John a winner over Murfreesboro, Illinois. West County blanks Bourbon. And Valley Catholic beats Grandview. Boys tennis, Farmington wins over Dexter. Poplar Bluff beats Arcadia Valley. And in girls soccer, Festus a shutout win over Fredericktown. Hillsboro blanking North County. Wednesday, baseball, Farmington beats Cape Central. And the St. Louis Patriots get past North County. Potosi blanks Herculaneum. St. Vincent falls to St. Genevieve. West County doubles up DeSoto. Valley Catholic shuts out Festus. And Kingston a win over Grandview. Softball, St. Genevieve beats Central. West County blanks Arcadia Valley. And Potosi outslugs Kingston. Girls soccer, North County a win over Fredericktown. Boys tennis, Potosi defeats Arcadia Valley. Farmington a win over Crystal City. And in boys golf, St. Genevieve finishes third in a tri-match. Thursday, baseball. North County beats West County. St. John win over Perryville. Central beats Arcadia Valley. Valley Catholic shuts out Jefferson. Valley of Caledonia shuts out Lesterville. And Kingston gets by South Iron. Softball from Thursday. Bourbon takes a pair from Kingston. And in boys golf, Potosi wins a quad match with Arcadia Valley finishing third. Friday, Potosi Invitational Girls Track Meet. The Lady Trojans finished fourth. Valley Catholic would finish second. On the boys' side, Windsor third and Potosi fourth. St. Pius winning that. Softball from Friday, Kingston outslugs Grandview. Kennett blanks Potosi. They also get a win over Central. And Ellington outslugs Arcadia Valley. Baseball from Friday, Potosi beats South Iron. Kingston a win over Steelville. Scott City gets past Farmington. And DeSoto outscores Central. Saturday, softball. Central loses a pair, getting beat by Triad, Illinois, and Bellevue West. Kennett would beat St. Genevieve and shut out West County. Valley Catholic a win over Portageville, and then Valley would fall to Clearwater. Turning now to Mineral Area College sports. The boys' baseball team was on a roll. They'd pick up another win Thursday over Crowder, but then lose 3 in a row to Crowder. They will play home and home this coming week against Jefferson College. And in softball, Lady Cards win the only 2 games they have of the week, 11-2 over West Plains and 11-0. They'll play State Fair and Three Rivers this week. Meanwhile, the MAAA Conference, all conference basketball teams were announced. The ladies' large school team, a couple of Central Lady Rebels, Alyssa and Taylor O'Connor. From Farmington, Maddie Mills and Kate Jinkerson. From Fredericktown, PJ Reitzel and Amelia Miller. From North County, Amy Layton. From Potosi, Aniston Mapes and Chloe Rowe. And from St. Genevieve, Chloe Stafford. Small school all conference, Braylon Turnbow and Paige Newstead Adams, along with Callie Hinkle and Lily Adams from Arcadia Valley, Ashley Hawkins and Haley Dickey from Bismarck, and then Sadie Patterson, Maylee Merrill, Alyssa Ludwig, and Caitlin Hartley, all of West County. On the boys' side, Justin Robinson makes it from Central, then Farmington led by Logan Shoppard, Cannon Roth, Tatum Tinsley, and Cooper Tripp. Tucker Reitzel makes it from Fredericktown. From Potosi, Cannon Wilson and Carter Whitley. And from St. Genevieve, Divian Fly and Alex Bosler.
Small school boys. Gerald Jackson makes it from Arcadia Valley. Blake Juliet and Aiden Pyle from Kingston. Tyler Geck and Colin Henderson from Valley Catholic. Caden Dickey and Drew McLean from Valley of Caledonia. And then Jackson Campbell, Nolan Rawson, and Brody Simile of West County. And that's a check of sports here on the Parkland Podcast.
David Easter is running for mayor of the city of Park Hills. For almost 20 years, David has been serving the city as a former mayor and current alderman. David Easter has overseen big improvements during his time in office and has always been open-minded and accessible to the residents of Park Hills. As a small business owner who understands what it takes to be financially responsible, David Easter will always make sure your tax dollars are working as hard as they can for you. Vote David Easter for Mayor of Park Hills on April 8th, paid for by David Easter.
Pete Pasternak is asking for your vote for re-election as mayor of Desloge. Pete has always put the citizens first. During Pete Pasternak's tenure as mayor, the city has made major strides like a full-time fire chief, infrastructure improvements, and new businesses. As mayor, Pete continues to fight to eliminate trash fees for residents and keep the city working efficiently with your taxes. His work on the Eastern Outer Road is almost complete. Let's let Pete finish the job. Vote Pete Pasternak for mayor of Desloge. Paid for by Pete Pasternak.
Farmington's future is bright, and Chris Morrison is ready to lead the way as your next mayor. He's focused on working with regional partners to bring new opportunities to town while still supporting the small businesses that make Farmington special. Chris has a plan to invest in infrastructure so we can grow the right way, keeping our city safe, connected, and thriving. He's all about real solutions and real collaboration, bringing people together to create community-minded, compassionate change. Listen, lead, deliver. Vote Chris Morrison for mayor of Farmington on April 8th, paid for by Chris Morrison.
We're here on the Parkland Podcast, and we're in Desloge Park. That's where this guy is the mayor of, Pete Pasternak, the mayor of Desloge. Thanks so much for joining us in the park. Appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate having me, Jason. Thanks a lot.
Well, let's talk about your tenure in public office. Alderman, was that the first
Yes.
position you held?
Yep.
And tell us about that.
I got elected an alderman in April of 22, and as my term progressed, there's some things I didn't really care for what was going on in City Hall, and so I decided to run for mayor, and fortunately I won. And I think I always think a mayor should be serving all the residents of Desloge, not focusing on the politics of it. And I just think that it's important to do that for a mayor, and not worrying about alliances in City Hall, and just focus on what's best for the entire city of Desloge and the residents.
We'll get into your mayoralship in a little bit, but want to learn a little more about your background. Went to North County. Probably people recognize the name from baseball, pretty
Yes.
synonymous with that in the area. I know you were part of that state championship baseball team, which you're very proud of.
Yes.
Kind of talk about, after that, education and the different jobs you've had.
Well, after high school, I went to St. Louis Community College at Forest Park on a baseball scholarship for 2 years there, and I graduated there. And then I went to Arkansas State for another 3 years. I got hurt 1 year, so I had a redshirt year where I was down there for 3 years, and then graduated with my bachelor's degree. And after that, I spent a year substitute teaching, and I got my teaching credentials, and then I went to education, and got my master's degree after that. And then now I've been 16 years in education as a public educator. So, and
Wow.
now 3 years in the city of Desloge, first as alderman and now as mayor.
What different schools have you worked at in your education?
I've been in
career?
Arcadia Valley the entire time. Yep.
And you really like Arcadia? They treat you pretty well in
I
AV?
do. It's I like it down there, and it's a job I'm comfortable in, and I really don't have any. It'd be nice to be closer to home, but I don't. I just like where I'm at. So I know there's some people drive to St. Louis every day, so a half-hour drive that's not too bad.
Yeah, about half as what most people do.
Yeah.
So let's get into your mayoralship. I know when Mark and I started the podcast, that was about the same time that the impeachment hearings were starting in the city of Desloge, and this went for a few months. Eventually, I guess withdrawn was the proper word. Talk about that process and how you were able to come out on the other side, and why didn't you at any time during that process say, you know what, I'm just going to throw my hands up and give up?
Well, I mean, it was a tough time. It was actually about 6 months process that went from June to November, but I knew what was going on was wrong. You know, it was so wrong, I was able to take the Board of Aldermen to court and representing myself as an attorney, and they had their own attorney from a hotshot law firm in St. Louis, and I was able to win. It was so wrong. It was so obvious what was going on. So it was a tough time, and I wasn't going to give up on the people of Desloge is what it was. So I'm glad we got through this process, and past several since that, I guess November when it stopped, it's been a little bit. Or it has been smoother. Things have been going better now in Desloge, and I'm put that past me and ready to move on. Hopefully, I get another term.
Well, we're going to dwell in the past just a little bit longer, but we're going to talk about the things that you accomplished as mayor that you're proud of. What are some things that happened under your guidance that you think voters would like to see more of?
We've had an excellent 2 years, in my opinion. Even though all the negativity that was in the media, there's still a lot of good things going on in Desloge. Public safety, our fire department is it's much stronger now, where we have full-time fire chief. As far as I'm aware, that's the only paid firefighter outside of Farmington in the county. The city's been able to purchase a ladder truck for the city of Desloge. There's not many of those in the county. And we made some significant upgrades to the firehouse. So that's fire department things it's going good there. And I'm glad that Chief Metter now is full time for the residents of Desloge, and not only the residents of Desloge, the entire fire area of the city of Desloge, because there's some rural areas too that Desloge serves. Also, police department, it's stronger. We've been able to get them some new tools and equipment, which was funded with grants, including a drone that they're getting ready to receive. They still haven't received it. It seems like that's been. They keep saying that we're getting ready to get it, but it's not on our end. It's when you have grants, you got to go through the hoops with the government and stuff, and we'll be able to have this. Now, I think it's like a $15,000 drone.
Oh, so, wow.
That'll be a nice addition to the department. And a lot of these things we've been able to do, too, even though that was with a grant. A lot of the bigger things is thanks to the residents of Desloge for passing Prop P back in 2019. So we have the economy is stronger now with new business coming in. Of course, Aldi, that's the big business. Everyone's excited for, and to recently open. Accessibility is... we focused on that with some new ADA compliant sidewalks that are coming to Desloge Drive and Oak Street. And once the Desloge Drive, once that sidewalk gets completed, you're essentially going to have a whole circle around the city of Desloge and it'll connect the residential areas to the commercial areas when you go on Desloge Drive, and it hits Chestnut, where the existing sidewalks are, and then those hit State Street, where those existing sidewalks are, and then back to Desloge Drive. So we'll essentially have a nice circle around the city. So that'll be good for the residents of Desloge that walk, and it's a safety factor too, having those sidewalks. The city's been able to purchase a new street sweeper that keeps the streets clean, curbs clean. There's a wand attachment that cleans out the drains and culverts and stuff. So we used to contract that service out. So long term, that will save the taxpayers of Desloge. We got a new resident-friendly sidewalk program that's been introduced, and it's repairs or replaces old sidewalks. Of course, they won't be repaired overnight, but we'll slowly get there, because a lot of sidewalks in the city are deteriorating and need to be replaced in the near future. And of course, the big project is the sewer line expansion project on the eastern outer road, where when that and if you're listening, if you're not aware of the Eastern Outer Road, it's the road that runs parallel to 67 on the east side of town. You got this nice newer road out there, and when it was constructed, there was a water line put in, but there was no sewer line put in, so we can't reasonably expect any business to come in there until we get that sewer line. So that's going to be a nice addition to the city, and thankful to, and a big thanks to Senator Henderson from back when he was in the state. He was able to secure us state funds for a big chunk of that, $500,000. And I'd called him back in the beginning of last year's session, told him the issue, and he jumped right on it, and he really came through for the city of Desloge on that. So I'm very thankful to him. We got the city operations; they're being modernized too with a new website that's going to be updated soon. We're going to be switching over to a .gov address instead of a .com, and we got things like the meeting agendas are posted online too, so that helps with transparency. So there's a lot of good things going on in Desloge now.
Absolutely. Why did the sewer line for the Eastern Outer Road take so long? Because that road's been complete for a while. Is it I guess maybe with Park Hills being a different municipality?
With Park Hills managing our sewer, I guess that could have been something. Why it wasn't installed initially or constructed initially when the road put in, I don't know. But the best we can do now is address it at this time, and we hope once it's installed, constructed, we'll be able to attract some commercial business out there, because it's not. I mean, it's a nice area that's pretty open right now outside of the traditional commercial areas of Desloge. So there's a lot of potential there for Desloge.
It seems in the past, and I think this got better with your predecessors, but there was a time when Park Hills and Desloge were at odds about a lot of things. I think that got better probably the last 10 years or so. From your perspective, in the last couple of years, how has that working relationship been with these two communities?
It's been it's good. I've talked to Stacy Easter often, and me and her have a good relationship. I think we're a lot better off working with our neighbors instead of trying to that old style. You know, I can even remember when I was a kid, back when it was Flat River and Esther and all that. It seemed like there was a lot of rivalry there, and then back in the early 2000s with the new water system, and they got tied up in some lawsuits and stuff. And I think we're just much better off if we're working with our neighbor than against our neighbor. So I hope everyone else feels the same way, regardless if it's Park Hills or Monterey or Leadington or whoever. I think having a good relationship is important.
So, if reelected, what are the goals? What are the projects that you're going to really dive into?
I think that the drainage issues a lot of residents face in the city, that's an important one. That's the city's been aware of that for a long time now. I know a lot of residents have came to the board meetings and expressed their concerns about that. And I know the two big areas are the Brim Street area, which is, we can see Brim Street right now right behind you, and over by the firehouse, the Chadwick area, and some of those roads that go off there, like Donna, and then Country Lane to a little bit above them. But there's some significant drainage issues for the people there. So one area of progress there is we're going to be doing. I was recently able to approve an ordinance for a sewer line expansion, or not sewer line, engineering study on see how that it can be addressed, and it's only for the Brim Street area. I'd like to see it done in the other areas I was talking about too, because it's a problem throughout the city. But it is a step in the right direction. But ultimately, an engineering study is going to be a piece of paper we get unless we actually act on that the people that are needing that help won't get it. So I hope it's something we can do. Hopefully we get a good report that it's something that we can afford. But I think that's an important issue to address. I think that public input could be receiving that could be better as a whole. One of the things I focus on is as mayor, if you call me, I promise you I'm going to pick up the phone. Or if you ask me to come by, I'll stop by and chat with you. But as a whole, I see cities doing things to receive public input. Farmington, I know their public works department. I think it's the public works department. They recently had a post on a proposed four-way intersection just wanting to receive input from the public. You got Park Hills, they're forming a citizen advisory board. I think something like that would be good in Desloge. And Desloge used to have some things similar. They used to have a street committee, a park board, but over the years those things have been eliminated. And then you had residents serving on those boards. And when you've eliminated those, you receive less public input. And when you have, right now we have around a $7 million budget and over $10 million in the bank, I think it's extremely important to be receiving that feedback, that input from the citizens on how they want their money spent.
Yeah, I would think something like that doesn't really cost the city anything other than they just need a place to meet, right?
Correct. Yes. And so I would like to see maybe that committee and board come back, maybe a new one, maybe a stormwater committee like I was talking about with the drainage issues. That would be a good idea. But ultimately, I mean, I'd have to get with the Board of Aldermen and see how if they would be in agreement with that. And I don't know why anyone would be opposed to that, but I think that would be good things for the city to focus on there.
Let's talk about trash. This is something you've been very vocal about since your time in office. A few years back, I want to say maybe 4 years ago, 5-6 years ago, the city voted to start charging residents for trash pickup along with their water bill. That is something that you've been fighting. It
is after I became mayor, I think it was in the fall of 23. I remember hearing some things about it, but what had happened, I had a group of residents, and they were older residents, came to me and said that back in 1976, we were told if we passed the sales tax, we would get, I take that back, they didn't tell me what year it was. They told me, they said a long time ago that we were told if we passed the sales tax, that we would get free trash pickup. So what I did, I went through digging through board minutes, and it took me countless hours to find it. I started in year 2000 and just started working my way back. And I finally found it in 1976, and what I found out was what the residents told me, they were right on it. And there was a sales tax in the municipal election of April 76, and what had happened before that, the board had passed a proposal in March of 1976 that stated if the voters approved the sales tax, 1% sales tax the next month, they're going to receive free trash pickup. And there was a few other services, curbs, gutters, street resurfacing that was beneficial to residents. But the trash is the big one that we focused on recently, and if they passed that in April 76, they'd get free trash pickup utilizing the 1% sales tax. So in April, the measure passed, and it started in January of 77, and that system stayed in place. That agreement was honored from January 77 until December of 2021 is when the Board of Aldermen implemented the $14 a month trash fee, which has gone up to $14.42 a month now. And my position is and the way we've told we can get away with it was on the technicality of the ballot language. But regardless of what the ballot said, I mean, when you look at the meeting minutes, you look at Daily Journal articles that were specific as the headline saying Desloge specifies use of sales tax funds, and then it goes about how you utilize the 1% sales tax. So that's, like I said, the system stayed in place there for 45 years, and I'm in the position now is if we're going to implement a trash fee, that needs to be decided by the voters of Desloge, not just a few people on the Board of Aldermen. And I think it was, voters were misled, on that, and a lot of the people that were in Desloge in '76, they remember that. And I think it's important to address that. I know I've talked to some other people. I know one alderman agrees with me on the position, and a few other people running for election, they agree too. But I would like to see it addressed still.
So would the plan be to put together? Would you have to have a new ordinance for something like that?
Yeah, because the trash fee was established by ordinance, so it would take another ordinance to change that one way or the other. I mean, it still could be addressed, and like I said, I think voters should be deciding that. The residents of Desloge should be deciding that, not the Board of Aldermen.
When you were going back and looking at what my kids would call ancient history there, where, I mean, was this like on microfilm? How were you going back and looking at all this?
There's a system called Laserfish that the city has, but everything's been scanned into where you can just go in and just look at whatever you want to pay. It goes back to 1941 when Desloge was incorporated. So there's, it's some of that stuff I looked at I was just interested in how it was incorporated in some of the first elections and stuff. It's not the quality of just because the documents were older when they were scanned in. Some of them were hard to read, but it's pretty interesting to know that all that stuff is still there.
And I'm sure a lot of it was handwritten, especially the older stuff, right?
Yes.
So you got to know your cursive.
Well, most of it is. Some of the meeting minutes are handwritten, but a lot of stuff was still done by typewriter. So most of it is typed out.
Wow, very cool. So was there anything else interesting you kind of stumbled across when you were rolling through there?
Well, off the top of my head, I can't.
Like, did you see your grandpa won an award or something like that, or anything like that pop up?
There was some of the stuff I found in there, about my family and friends and stuff. But off the top of my head, I can't think of anything. You kind of put me on the spot here, but I know that there was plenty of stuff in there. Everything since Desloge was incorporated in 1941 until now is there, and you see some of the names in there that a lot of people remember, like Herky Tiffner, who's still here, and Bob Ward, and his father, who was mayor, and if you're interested in history, you'd probably be interested in that because there's a lot of neat stuff in there.
When you go door to door, what are people saying is the biggest issue that you can tell?
The trash fee gets brought up some. And then, of course, the impeachment, people will bring that up too. But, and a lot of people are just nice, and they don't want to talk about issues. But those are two of the bigger ones, I say. And like what's your platform? Where do you stand for? And then I'll bring up some of the projects going on now, and like what I hoped where we see Desloge where we get to in the future, and so that's what I would say goes on there when I'm campaigning door to door.
All right, have you ever had any bad experiences, like anybody sick the dog on you or anything like that?
No. I mean, sometimes people they just say
they just don't want to talk.
They don't want to talk,
sure.
And it's. Nothing horrifying.
Okay, well, good.
And I don't take anything personal. I mean, everyone has they're entitled how they want to vote, and if they don't want to vote, I'll just move on to the next house. So, but overall, it's a good experience. So,
very good. Anything else on your agenda that you'd like to talk about that you think people might be interested in with your candidacy?
Well, the city treasurer position is another one that that I've been vocal about too, because city code requires us to have a city treasurer. If you look in section 105.700 of the Desloge City Code, it's clear it's not an optional position; it's required, and we haven't filled it for a while now. And I think it's important to have, especially like I was talking about the $7 million budget, the $10 million in public funds, to have that position. And honestly, my opinion doesn't matter on the issue, or your opinion, or anyone.
You're just kind of a tiebreaker, right?
But if city code states something,
you have to follow it.
You got to follow it.
Yeah.
And I don't think we should be getting to picking and choosing what we follow, because if we're not following our own city code, how can we expect our residents to follow it? Too, but I think that's an important position to follow and to bring back. And the board hasn't acted on my request to do that, but I feel like there's been a little bit of positive movement to finally fill that position due to a meeting we had a couple weeks ago. So. That's something I'd like to see addressed. But overall, the finances of Desloge are good. It's grown from about $8.1 million when I came into office to over $10 million now. I think it's $10.4 million at the last board meeting. That did come down a little bit because we had a couple big payments we had to make on some lease purchase agreements. I think both of them were over $50,000, so it knocked it down a little bit, but we're still over $10 million of public funds, and that's grown almost $2 million during my term. But it's a municipality is not a business. We need to, where you shouldn't be profiting, and I shouldn't say that in a way that we are, but we're not making a profit. We need to be making sure we're utilizing that money to make the residents of Desloge their lives better. So that's a few things that still, or that I think is important, is going on in Desloge.
Why is it that Desloge city workers, when they clean the roads, do such a better job than any other community around here? What's the secret?
I don't know. I don't want to call out any other cities. What I hear from nearby, but you're right. They do. They do a phenomenal job when it's there's snow on. I had numerous compliments the past 2 storms we had here, and one of them was with the new public works director, so he jumped right in, and his name's Kyle Perry. He's doing a fantastic job for the city, and we just do a good job clearing streets, so I'm proud of them there.
Yeah, that's something that the city's been known for a long time. How do people find out more about your campaign?
Well, you can, if you can call me, or I got a reelect page on Facebook. Mm-hmm. You can contact me or email me. However, like I said, if you call me, I'll pick up, and if I don't pick up and you leave me a message or text or what, I'll call you back the same day. So, or I'll come by to see you the same day. So, it's just Facebook, phone, email, text, whatever.
Whatever's easiest for the residents.
Whatever's easiest, yes.
All right. Pete, appreciate your time so much. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Jason.
All right. Pete Pasternak, he is running for re-election in the city of Desloge, and he is our guest now on the Parkland podcast.
Do you often ask others to repeat themselves? Is the TV volume creeping up higher? Hi, I'm Dr. Karen Melton, and it could be time to have your hearing checked. Hearing loss happens gradually, making it hard to notice. At Hearing Care Partners, we offer thorough hearing evaluations that uncover even subtle changes in your hearing over time. Early detection can improve your hearing and your life. Start prioritizing your hearing today. Schedule your appointment now at hearingcarepartners.com. At Hearing Care Partners, we listen so you can hear.
Meet Stella Hubbard, a proud advocate for North County schools from a family rich in Raider pride. With a background in mental health and school counseling, her career and volunteer work reflect Stella Hubbard's commitment to ensuring every student has the resources to thrive. Stella Hubbard is a strong advocate for students and teachers dedicated to maintaining fiscal responsibility and always committed to transparency. Vote Stella Hubbard for North County School Board on April 8th. Paid for by Stella Hubbard.
Keith Probst wants to be your next alderman in Ward 1 in Desloge. Keith Probst is a lifelong resident and believes that Desloge has a bright future. Keith wants to bring a new sense of pride to the city and its residents. Keith Probst is a proven leader who will make sure police, fire, and city workers are well taken care of and have the resources they need to keep the city great. Keith Probst will always listen to the citizens and make sure their concerns are heard. Vote Keith Probst for Ward 1 Alderman in the city of Desloge. Paid for by Keith Probst.
We want to welcome back onto the podcast Chris Morrison. He is running for mayor of Farmington. This is a paid interview, and he is our guest here on the Parkland podcast. Chris, it's been a whirlwind few months for you and the family. Tell us a little bit about how you've been received by the voters and what they're asking you the most about.
Yeah, we'll find out in a couple of weeks.
I
think it's been going pretty well. You know, on my council runs in the past, they've been unopposed. So this is a little bit different in the getting in an election season. But it's been great. It's been great talking to people and getting involved and really hearing what they have to say and what questions they have. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's not about an agenda I may have. It's about what the needs are in the community and how we can work together to solve them. And so, it's been a great experience here in a couple of weeks. April 8th is a big day, so we'll see how it goes.
The thing I hear most of when I hear you speak, Chris, is you want to kind of form a partnership between residents and city government and have everybody kind of work together to sit down and come up with what's best for the city.
I think so. I think it's what government is. You're in an elected position, and the idea is that you're representing your neighbors, the people in town. So I think it's important to listen to what their concerns are, what their ideas are. And it doesn't always have to be bad stuff. They may have great ideas. We need to take that in and see how we can help and how we can help stimulate the economy, stimulate Farmington, help push it forward. So, I think that's really it. I think collaborating, no matter what you do, if we're talking about nonprofits getting together, if we're talking about cities getting together, region, it's just getting everyone together and seeing how we can help each other, right? If I come to you and ask you something and there's nothing in it for you, you may be a little hesitant. Not you, because you help everybody, but in general, most people, right? But if I come and we can help each other out, I just think it's mutually beneficial, and it helps push everything forward.
It's hard to find good employees. What's your ideas, your plan for taking care of the employees of the city of Farmington?
I think anyone you talk to, no matter what kind of business you're in, the most expensive thing is you're recruiting and developing employees, right? So if we can retain employees, I think that makes us even stronger. So it's really looking at it from a holistic approach. The city is doing a compensation study, just kind of comparing ourselves to other cities our size that are kind of built like us. And the city, Greg and his team has done a great job the last 20 years. They've tried to do it internally. The size of budget that Farmington has, it's a $60 million budget. I think doing a compensation study like any business would do to make sure that we're paying our benefits, our compensation is where it needs to be is important. And I think it'll help us into the future. So again, I think from my experience as a business owner, I know that it's much more affordable to keep good employees than it is to try to find them and then try to train them overall. So I think in every department, from police, fire, electric department, water, street department, the public works, the parks and rec. I mean, it's just all over for the whole organization. So, and we have great people in place. Paula Carty and Greg and everyone in the admin office does a great job, and it's making sure they have the resources available, and we're all working together to make sure Farmington's moving forward.
Chris, I know economic development is a big priority of yours looking ahead, but you want to take more of a regional approach almost in terms of economic development. What's good for one is good for everybody.
Yeah, I really believe in that because I just don't believe that today. I think maybe 20 years ago it might have worked this way. Today, if you look across the state of Missouri, when you've seen growth, when you've seen businesses coming to areas, it's done on a regional basis. And I pointed out, up in Wright City, they have a huge packaging center. I think if you look just north of us in Jefferson County, I don't believe the state would have given money to Peevely or Herculaneum, but I think they would invest money into Jefferson County, into that region, which is what they did with the port. And it's also what you're seeing with the James Hardy siding facility going in Crystal City along the river. And I think if we come together, it's much easier when we talk to our partners in Jefferson City, when we're asking for funds, that we can say, hey, we're doing this for St. Francis County and not just for Farmington. And at the end of the day, Farmington's going to benefit and all of our neighbors are going to benefit. And I think that's how we do it in the future, I believe.
Last question for you. Why should people vote for you on April 8th?
I will tell you this. I don't claim to have all the answers to everything, but I think it's important. I'm open. I like to get people in the room and get people together and share ideas. And I'm humble enough to know that I may not have the right answer all the time, but I'll also listen and I'll always make the decision that I feel like is best for everyone involved. And I appreciate the support and looking forward to it. So.
Good luck with your campaign.
Thanks. Appreciate it, guys.
All right. That's Chris Morrison running for mayor of Farmington, joining us here on the Parkland podcast. Heimberger Construction, heimbergerconstruction.com, the website. Boy, they are such great people that know their stuff, and they're ready to work with whatever kind of construction you need.
Jenny is so busy, Jennifer Heimberger, the owner of Heimberger Construction, because they're doing jobs all around the area, and that is just a testimony to the quality work they provide. If you are adding on to your business and you want to work with the right people, call Heimberger Construction. They have years of experience, and they don't just do work here locally. They are all throughout the Midwest because they have a great reputation. They are solid. They were here yesterday, they're here today, and they'll be here tomorrow.
And they use those Butler buildings because they're the best metal building system on the market and the only buildings that have that pre-punched roof system and standard 360-degree roof seam for their standing seam roof. And Butler Buildings, too, Mark, I did some research. They are a Missouri-based company as well. So you're using not only a quality company like Butler Buildings with Heimberger Construction, you're also keeping your money right here in the state of Missouri, too. So that's very good. Check them out. They've been around since 1978, HeimbergerConstruction.com. Save a lot of the Lead Belt. They are located in Bonne Terre, DeSoto, Potosi, Park Hills, Farmington. We get the alerts. I think it's every day that we record. I get a text.
Some Saturdays, yes.
Yeah. You get that alert from Save a Lot, and then they got the little scratch-off cards. Those are so much fun.
They have great produce. You know, they go through all their produce, and they look at it before they put it out to make sure it's the freshest, the best produce that they can serve to their customers. I love that about that store. The great service they give, the great attention to detail, and then don't get us started on the meat department.
Oh, man. Yeah. They were part of my opening day barbecue, and the brats and the pork steaks were fantastic. And just don't stop there. There's so many great meat selections available for you. The 5 for $24.99, still a great deal. Every once in a while, you might get lucky, and one of those days it's a 6 for $24.99, which is like free bonus meat. Check it out. Save a lots of the Lead Belt. Bonne Terre, DeSoto, Potosi, Park Hills, and Farmington. Dr. J is in the hizzy. I guess you can tell I've been away from my high school students for a week. I'm talking like them. Anyways, Dr. Joe Gilgore is here from Mineral Area College, the president. Good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're watching or viewing. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Busy times at Mineral Area College. You're gearing up for a big commencement ceremony.
Yeah, commencement is May 16th in the field house, and I was told we have more graduates this time around than we've either ever had or had in a really long time. I don't know we've been around 100 years, so it's really hard to see that information, but more than recent history we've ever had, so that's really cool.
What is the significance of that?
Well, I mean, to me, our job's to get students out of college. We know our job is to get them out of college. We don't want them to stay there forever, so they can go out and get jobs and start their lives. And so the more students we have graduating, that to me says that we're doing a good job of that, trying to be more efficient. Students aren't wasting a lot of time and money on classes they don't need. They're getting through them fast and getting out of there.
So the spring commencement, when will that take place? Where is that going to take place? Still going to be in the field house, or are you thinking about moving it up the hill?
Well, it's May 16th in the field. It's a Friday night. A couple of years ago, we changed from Saturday morning to Friday night. It was pretty popular. It was a little rowdier of a crowd. I think there's a little happy hour maybe before that happens, but which is good. We have a lot of fun. But it's May 16th at 7:00, and we're still in the field house. And with this many graduates, though, if we keep growing that. I mean, that place is packed on commencement night. We may have to look at some options in the future. Or breaking. I mean, some of them I think do 2 graduations. They'll do one maybe early in the day and one later. So we may have to look at some different options if we keep having this much success with students.
So there's always a number of awards that are presented during commencement exercises. Have you decided on all your winners?
Well, our commencement speaker is Greg Kester from Potosi. He was the Missouri Teacher of the Year a year ago, and he teaches dual credit for us, so we're pretty proud of him, and he agreed to come in and be the commencement speaker. And then our Alumni of the Year was Rebecca Buchanan. So Becky does a great job, is a nurse in town, and I'm sure a lot of your listeners probably even have her as a physician. I mean, she's fantastic and helps out with a lot of our athletic programs. Just does a fantastic job. Of course, she's just a delight to be around too. Of course,
and she keeps Andy Buchanan out of trouble.
Well, that's a full-time job in itself, I think. Yeah. And then our Gail and Rowena Simmons Service Award is going to Kurt Bauke. Cool. Kurt's been if you know Kurt, you know that he's retired, kind of, I guess. He's not retired. Working all the time, but he never says no to helping out somebody, and especially if it involves cooking food for a bunch of people. He's really good at that. But he's just been a really great asset to the college for many years, and so we're going to honor him with that award that night.
Excellent.
Yeah. So we have changes coming next year to Mineral Area College. I believe a program that had been a part of the college for a while had disappeared and is now coming back. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so in 2020 when COVID was going on, Mac was in a really, really rough spot. We'd been kind of comfortable and good for decades, but then when a crisis hit, we just weren't able to withstand that, and it was unfortunate. So we had to make some really tough decisions and cut some programs. And one of those programs that we did eliminated at the time was the theater program. There was only one theater student at the time, and so that's kind of how we measured it. You know, how many students are in the programs, how many, that kind of thing. And there were some that just didn't really have any students in it. So we made a change there. It was a very unpopular decision in the community, to say the least, and with me too. And I know I've said that, you both probably know this, I've said it to both of you before, but I don't know about your listeners, but my bachelor's degree is in theater.
Yeah.
And it was heartbreaking for me to make that decision. My theater advisor, who I kept in touch with after leaving college, I still don't know if he's talking to me. So, I mean, there's, it's tough decisions that had to be made at the time. However, we are in a position right now where we're able to post a position, I think it's posted right now, a full-time theater instructor to really start that program back up again, really like a phoenix rising from the ashes type of thing. And, we're looking for someone, have to have a master's degree in theater, but coming in and revitalizing that, rebuilding it in their own image, and just starting it fresh. And now, of course, the theater hasn't stopped. Since we eliminated the program, the Mineral Area Fine Arts Academy has filled that gap and will continue to do so. There's still going to be fine arts academies, programming and theater productions and all that too. But we're in an opportunity right now. We can do college level theater courses, and that's exciting because I think it's something that a lot in the community did want. And the Fine Arts Academy has done a great job of building kind of a pool of students that their next step now is a college education. And so that was all the intent of it from the very beginning of the Fine Arts Academy, was to help bring back the arts at Mac. And it's pretty cool. We're looking forward to it. I hope we get some great applicants. And like I said, it should be out there now, but it's nice to be able to do it. We wanted to do it last year and we weren't able to, and we got real close. And then this year we're able to do it. So it's a pretty big deal.
Do you want to start it up by this fall?
Yeah. We'd like to have someone start. It'd be a 9-month faculty contract, so it'd be starting in August. So we would probably have somebody hired, by May or June, I would say is the intent. Give them time to kind of get settled and see what's going on around here, and then it'd be an August start, and it'd be a full-time position, and hopefully a lot of students come into it. We think there's a lot of interest, and like I said, the Fine Arts Academy students, there's a lot of those that are college age that are participating in every show. They're involved in every production, and this gives them an opportunity to maybe pursue a career in this field. Get a degree in it and see what's next. Which we're starting our Associate of Fine Arts degree in music this year, which allows students to have more intensive music program. Then they go to transfer to a Bachelor's of Fine Arts instead of just a bachelor's degree. So they're more intense programs towards those degrees. And not this first year, but probably next year in theater, we'll have an Associate of Fine Arts in theater. So that'll help those students as well that really want to go into this as a full career and go to a university that has an intensive arts program.
Are there any other programs maybe getting revitalized, or any new programs on the horizon for next semester?
Well, our agriculture program, we did eliminate our ag program, our horticulture program at that time, and we're restarting that, but really as an animal science, farm management, agribusiness program. We did hire an instructor. Her name's Ryan Bohan. Ryan's lived in the area for 7 years, and she lives in Kaufman, and got her degrees, and I think she master's degree in Oklahoma in agriculture, and knows what she's doing. She's come in. She's already been working, of course, for us, but she came in and has given us her vision for the future of this, and it's outstanding what she's planning to do with this program. And so we're really excited about it. We're still looking for land for that farm, but we're looking about 100 acres of land, and we've had a couple of options come up, and we got some people working on some stuff behind the scenes, but as of right now, we don't have it. So it's okay, though. We're going to start the program on campus, and then they'll go to farms and do kind of like our nurses, go to hospitals for clinical visits and kind of learn different aspects of the hospital. Our ag students can do the same thing. Go around and maybe go to a farm that has pigs, and maybe go to a farm that has sheep, and a farm that has horses. Cows. Whatever. They'll get a well-rounded education still, which was going to be part of the program anyway. But now it's probably a little heavier because we don't have our own land.
You were looking in Madison County originally, weren't you?
Originally we were. We wanted something close to our Fredericktown campus, and we were going to use that as the hub for the ag program. We have looked at, I don't know how many properties in Madison and St. Francis County, and just haven't found one that works. We found some really great affordable properties in Madison County that were just so remote. There's no way that they would work for our students, to have good access to them. A lot of these farms, Three Rivers has a farm, and Mizzou has farms, State Fair Community College farm. A lot of these come from donations, actually. Usually it's someone who's, a lot of times it's maybe a widow, her husband's passed away, and she doesn't want to operate the farm, but wants it to stay a farm. And that's part of the thing about this. We can guarantee a legacy here of a family forever, naming it after the family, that kind of thing. We do have a little bit of money. We're not going to be the best offer on the table when it comes to it, but we do have some money to put towards it, but we can guarantee that legacy of always keeping your family name on it.
Could you have like a sheep pen maybe next to the new softball complex, and then those students could like cut the grass, real greenly with the sheep?
Maybe, that might be a good idea.
Yeah, we could
really
do something like
intersect those programs together. And some people have said, Mac's got so much land, and our campus is like 300 acres. I mean, it's a big campus. A lot of the campus on the backside of baseball and softball is, the quarry's back there, which we can't do with that, but a lot of it is, overgrowth and an outcrop of rocks and things. It is not good. So we've had some people suggest, well, why don't you just clear that off, make it farmland? For one, is I hate to lose trees. I really do. I mean, we had to cut down our Bradford pears lately because they're just horrible trees apparently. But it just looks so much different without trees. I love having them there. I hate to do that. Also, it seems like the amount of money you invest in it would be way more than just buying pasture that's already ready for it. So, I'm not saying that couldn't be something in the future, but we're hopeful and optimistic that we're going to find a nice piece of land we could place this in.
So all these exciting things going on with the ag program and the theater department. Meanwhile, you've got your trio programs, and you're kind of waiting on pins and needles with the federal government on that.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of, the Trump administration's made it no secret of their intent to dismantle the Department of Education. And we've heard different scenarios of what that could mean for colleges, like our financial aid, for instance. I mean, so we don't get a lot of direct federal funding from the Department of Education. Outside of the TRIO programs is federal funding. It's a grant for them. Now we get Pell Grant, student loan access for students. That money comes to the college, but really it's passed through going. So if that did go away, that would be really bad. I've heard no intent of the Pell Grant or student loans going away, just maybe going to a different department in the federal government. But we got 17 really nervous employees in TRIO that are really scared of what's going to happen. It is a lot of money. I mean, it's a lot of money, and it's not something that MAC is able to sustain should that program get cut. And we're trying to all just stay as calm as we can and patient as we can as we wait. That's the worst part, is the waiting. But their fiscal year runs through August, so it's possible we get some information maybe this summer once President Trump and the government releases budgets, which I don't think they have done yet. That there's been 2 times in my career that TRIO has been on the block to be cut by presidential budgets. Obama had it in one of his, and Trump had it in one of his, and both of them were not successful. The Congress didn't approve those. So, we know that it's not a foregone conclusion if the president does say it. There's still other checks and balances there, but it does make you a little nervous, when that's your career, and they do such great work for students. And TRIO programs are for students who have disabilities, students with low income, first generation college students. Right. These are students who need the most support at college, and so it would be it'd be a big loss if that happened. But I'm trying to stay optimistic, and hope for the best, and so but we're trying to be realistic as well that we know it could happen.
If the Department of Education goes away, how would that funding come down? Because, I mean, there's still going to be money spent on education. Right. Will it just go straight to the states, or what are you hearing?
Well, so on the financial aid part, what I'm hearing is that it would go to the Treasury Department. So the financial aid might change the process, like the FAFSA and things like this, but it probably wouldn't go away. It just goes to a department that handles money, which I really don't have a problem with. I mean, I don't care honestly where it is.
Well,
just don't take it away from the students.
Yeah.
Now on the TRIO program side, those kind of programs, I would assume the federal government would say, we're limiting this. If you want it, states, you can fund it. I don't know if they'll give money. Now, we live in a state that, I've been in Jeff City a lot lately talking about budgets, and, that's probably not something the state would take on, I would say, just based on information that I have, but which is limited. But I would guess that's the way it's going to be. I doubt they send money to the states, but they might. I feel like a lot of the Department of Education problems the Trump administration has is more symbolic. It's more just the department itself. It's not the things necessarily in it as much. It's just the department represents something to them that they don't like. And so dismantling it and spreading things elsewhere where all the programs are still offered, but the department is gone, would still be okay. And I'm hoping that's kind of the route they're going, that it's really more that label Department of Education just is sticking to them, and they want to get rid of that. But you just never know. I mean, there's a lot of things happening every day. There's a monitor in my office, for Zoom calls and such. And I turn on every day, and I keep it on the news all day because I'm just waiting for something, so we know right away when something happens. And man, just things that have nothing to do with education are happening all the time. It's very busy news cycles lately. So, we try to keep up with it. But like I said, we're staying optimistic. We're trying to be supportive of those employees as we can, and encouraging them to stay positive if they can, of course. And they got to keep supporting the students. They have a lot of students they support, and that's not stopping right now. So we don't want to end those services at the moment.
So Joe, we were at the Mac Tech building this past Friday for the Farmington Chamber Banquet. Big success, beautiful facility. Yeah. That building has, I have to guess, exceeded your expectations, and you're really just getting started.
It really did. We are so proud of that building. I mean, it's so impressive. And it's, the building, the first 80,000 square feet were completed in 2023. So it's not that old, but man, I'm impressed every time I walk in there.
Yeah.
And then we added 20,000 square feet in August of 24 for our automotive program in our Cardinal Center, which is where we were for the chamber dinner. And it's impressive, and it's really great. Every time people walk through there, we hear feedback like that this is so impressive and so amazing. And we love it so much. And because of that, our programs are full. I hear every once in a while that I said this at the State of the County address, but people say, the classes are empty and all you do is throw parties there. And I say that, maybe part of that's true because the classes are not empty. The classes are definitely full, but we do have a lot of parties there. So the building is a popular place for the community to have events in, and so it is very active. You drive by any time, usually on a weekend evening. Yeah. I mean, last night I wasn't out there, but in the parking lot. But man, I'm sure it was loaded. I mean, you drive by, you wouldn't know what's going on. And we had to actually, the 20,000 expansion brought in 150 more parking spaces, and that was needed because before that, I think U.S. Tool had their Christmas party out there, and it was 500 people, and there was no place to park. I mean, they were parked all over campus, and so, but it's really successful. And one thing that is encouraging to us is other communities are now coming to us and saying, "Hey, we want this in our community." St. Gen has been one of them. St. Genevieve has come in, and their city leadership came to me and said, what would it take to put a technical campus here? And so I was like, well, first of all, I got to have a place to do it. We don't have land in St. Genevieve, and the city voted to give us 7 acres of land right outside. It's right by the community center, by the ice cream shop is what I identify because that sounds the best thing. But they've committed some land for us to use for free. And so that's really great. We went to the state legislature and asked for funding for a program. And, as of right now, and I don't want to jinx it, but as of right now, there's $5 million in the budget, in the Senate budget for this project in St. Genevieve. And that's a cool thing. That doesn't pay for the entire project, but it means we could probably get funding next year to complete the project. But they just want to see something get started. St. Gen's one of those areas that's, it's kind of removed from a lot of different things. It's 40 minutes from here. It's how far from Perryville, 30 minutes from Perryville, something like that. So they feel like they lose a lot. And the industries were telling us that they send their employees to be trained. They send them to Illinois a lot of times, and because Illinois is right there. And we're like, no, that's not okay. This is Missouri money needs to stay in Missouri. We need to train them in Missouri, and so I think this would be a great opportunity to. Expand the programming and get some opportunities for students over there. It'll be a general education facility too, so they can take English courses and math courses and things. But our second part of that is Cape Girardeau County has asked the same thing, and that was the exact conversation they had with me. Is a lot of people say they're going to do these things. You guys actually did this. Now we want it too, and so that's flattering to hear. That our reputation's out there, but. We're working on that as well and trying to get some funding for that. We're not that funding's not in the budget right now, but we're working towards it. So we do have land secured. The Drury Southwest Corporation has promised us some land to use off the Fruitland exit, if you know where that is. Again, it's by Pizza Inn. I always relate my landmarks to food.
Absolutely.
But it's an amazing property right off the interstate. It's kind of on a hill. It's going to look fantastic. They've given us land for that. So we're working on it, but hopefully really between Park Hills, St. Gen, Cape, like every 30 minutes, you can get this access to this education. I think it's going to be great for these communities.
Good deal.
Lastly, fall enrollment open. People can sign up for classes.
Yeah, fall enrollment's open. It's weird to be thinking about fall right now, but fall is open, and we always encourage people to get enrolled as early as possible. If you've never been to college and you want to start, don't wait till August to do that. Get in now, lock in those classes, because there's still classes available in August, but not as many as there are right now. You get kind of a wide variety. As they start to fill up, we are moving from the option of scheduling. So you can get in now, but then also if you're a college student, maybe returning, you have some credit, you're returning, or you're a current Mac student, again, get in early, because if they fill up, you may miss that. You may have to have that for graduation. Maybe you need one more class, you need it in the fall or the spring, and it may fill up. So we encourage students to get in as early as possible. Lock that in, and then they can always make changes. It's not anything you can't change down the road. But really get that locked in, and there's so much available. And with the new programs, with ag and theater, and that, it's just exciting. It's a really exciting time at Mineral Area College, and a lot of opportunities for students. We always look forward to the fall every year and the new, fresh feeling of the semester. But it's going to be a good year. I think we've had a good couple of years here, and so we're feeling pretty good.
Excellent. On a good run. Dr. Joe Gilgore, Mineral Area College, mineralarea.edu. Appreciate your time, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for being here.
And this is third or fourth time on?
I don't know.
One of those times.
He's a regular.
He's so good. He brought us T-shirts. we should have the Fourth Timers Club T-shirt maybe.
Oh yeah,
for you
maybe
guys.
A blazer of some kind.
Oh yeah, we definitely need a tuxedo shirt, but like one of those shirts that just has a tuxedo design on it.
That's classy. Yeah.
There we go. Dr. Joe Gilgore, Mineral Area College, here with us on the Parkland Podcast.
Parkland Pharmacy is out to prove that local independent pharmacy is alive and well. We work hard at giving you an excellent experience every time you come to see us. We love what we do, and we would love to take care of you. There's no need to be frustrated with your health care. If you're tired of what your pharmacy is not doing for you, then stop waiting in line and come see us today. We have 6 locations across Southeast Missouri, so Google us to find the store nearest you or visit parklandrx.com. Parkland Pharmacy is a local pharmacy at its finest.
Farmington, Missouri, your destination for a perfect weekend getaway. Dine in at one of our quality restaurants or visit one of our surrounding wineries. Farmington offers a variety of parks and other recreational leisure time activities. See some sights, have some fun, and go wherever your heart takes you. Sounds like a lot of fun, so get a room and stay a while. All this and more awaits you just 60 miles south of St. Louis. Discover Farmington today.
We're going to talk about the St. Francis County Republican Central Committee's Lincoln Days celebration that is coming up, and we have a couple of the organizers of this event joining us here at the barn. We have Kent Scism and Laura Smith. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time. This has been fun already, and we haven't even started the interview yet.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be fun. You know we're going to have fun. Wherever Laura and I are together, we have fun, okay?
That's true.
That's true. But Lincoln Days is going to be so much fun. We have great speakers. Who do we have, Laura?
We have Gary Shapley, the whistleblower for the IRS on the Hunter Biden laptop story. He's our keynote speaker. We have Dave Wassinger, the Lieutenant Governor, and Jason Smith, our representative that's head of the Ways and Means Committee.
Ways and Means is a big deal. He does the laws. They're going to pass that big law, hopefully, that makes the tax cuts permanent. That's his job, right? Okay. And then we also have my friend Mike Kehoe, the governor. I've known Mike for years. He worked for Dave Sinclair, and he's a Ford dealer, and Lynn, Missouri had the ambulance company, but he can't commit until the day or two before, so we really can't say he's going to be there for sure. But hopefully he's going to be there. So this is a great lineup. This is the best Lincoln Days in this area in a long time, maybe forever. I can't think of anybody, Jefferson County, St. Louis County, even Kansas City, Jackson County, whatever it is, having a better slate of speakers. Can you?
No, and it's a big talk in the state, too, because it's gotten out. It got out really quickly, and it's big talk in the state. They're amazed that such a little place that's never really done this kind of thing is doing this big of an event.
Well, you say little. But in the state politics, St. Francis County is a known entity, okay?
Yeah.
We are known. I don't know if you remember this, but I don't know, 20 years, maybe when Tom Burcham started running, there was not a Republican in the courthouse or in this county. Now it's the opposite. Okay, there may be one Democrat elected to the county office, so it's flipped. And St. Francis County is actually the bellwether, I think, even more so than Cape Girardeau County and Jefferson County. I mean, we're on the move, and we're helping all of our elected officials, and that's our job, to help our elected officials stay elected, get elected. But that's what our job is.
So tell us about the whole purpose of Lincoln Days. Is it just a rallying point for conservatives and Republicans, or does it serve other purposes?
It's a way to get the word out on what's going on in local state and local politics, even federal politics. Most people don't understand what's going on. They don't see what's going on, and they're terrified to go and talk to any of our elected officials. At this type of an event, we get people to come out and talk and listen and get to know, because it always shocks them how much they can find out at a simple dinner with a simple speech. It's really surprising to them.
Now, here's something else. Okay, our meeting with the Central Committee is the first Tuesday of every month. Okay, we have had speakers from the elected officials. We've had Louis Cyberlich, we've had the Sheriff Jeff Greitz. They come and speak. We've had big crowds. It's really good for them to get out and talk, and they love to do it because they love to see what they're doing. Sometimes you don't think the government's doing right for you. When you listen to these folks, they're trying. They're doing the right thing. That's what this is all about.
And this again taking place on April 26th. The doors open at 5:30. Dinner starts at 6 o'clock. It's at the Mac Tech Center. What is the admission for this event?
It's $35 a person, and it's going to be catered by, is it Hendricks?
Yes,
yeah,
Hendricks.
Out of South St. Louis. My wife is in charge of that, Angie. Thank you, Angie. And she's done this many times for the Ballet Arts Center at the Centene Center with a lot more people than what we're having.
I've had that food. Yeah, that's
it's
excellent.
the same people, and
great.
she's always done a bang-up job, and this will be wonderful. And thank you in advance, Angie.
I understand there's also going to be a silent auction.
Chris?
Yes. Everybody on the committee, and we have a diverse committee that's handling Lincoln Days, is responsible for acquiring, and we've got some really interesting things to put on. We're also having an auction that night. We are going to auction off a 9mm Glock 4, Generation 4, and it's all engraved and done. It's actually gorgeous. It's gold with all the Trump stuff on it, and it is really just gorgeous. The seal and 47 and 45 are on it.
Yeah, it is. It's good. It has a presidential seal. It's cool. It is.
We'll also be doing our raffle that night, and that's the night we'll pull on the rifle we bought.
Yeah, I have an AR-15, I think, in the same
Yes.
vein as it did engraved also?
Yes.
Isn't it? Yeah, okay, same way.
So obviously this is open for all area Republicans, but what about those folks on the fence? They don't know which way they're leaning. This would be a good way for them to attend and find some answers.
Exactly. No matter who you get coming into these events as speakers, and believe me, all of the elected officials will be there. Mike Henderson's coming, Becky Laubinger's coming, and we'll have all the local electeds from our county government. No matter who comes in there, you have a right to talk to them, and you have a right to be heard. And this gives them an idea of who is representing them, and it makes it a lot easier on people.
And Mark, this is not, it's not really a Republican thing. You have to brand it somehow, okay? But as Republicans, I think I speak for Laura and I both, and everybody in our club. It's really not Republican. It's just the way we feel about how politics should be done. Okay, so if you're a Democrat, whatever, come. It's fine. Okay, we're not. We're all in this together.
Right.
So that's why that's what we're trying to do, is make everything better.
Where do they go to get tickets?
Any of the elected officials, county elected officials will have them, and then I have a bunch.
and we have a Facebook page.
Yes, you can go to the Facebook page. We'll bring them to you, meet you somewhere, or show up at our meeting Tuesday night at 6 on the at Weber Road.
What is the Facebook page name?
It's the St. Francis County Republican Central Committee.
Okay, there we go. All right.
I know, covering Lincoln Day events in the past, one of my favorite questions to ask the featured speaker would always be, what would Abraham Lincoln think of the Republican Party today? And I kind of wanted to pose that question to you guys. What would, if Abraham Lincoln hopped in a time machine and he saw what was happening right now, what do you think he would think?
He'd be impressed with Donald Trump's cabinet. Lincoln did the same thing. Lincoln filled his cabinet with opposing views. The cabinet meetings for Lincoln turned into brawls and fistfights.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And
did.
that's what because you get all
And
those
guns.
views, and I think he would be terribly impressed with that cabinet.
I think he would be pissed off.
Yeah? Why
yeah,
so?
because it got to be this way.
Yeah.
But she has the good point. Is you have to have all these converging ideas, and that's how things get done. But that's just my thought.
Talk a little bit, Kent, while we had you here, and before we turned the microphones on, we were talking a lot about kind of historic events that happened in St. Francis County. And, with your position with the dealership for many, many years, you were in the middle of a lot of cool things that happened in St. Francis County over the years. And I wanted to talk about Country Days because you were kind of there right when the ball first got started. Kind of tell us about some of those early shows. And I know Mark has one show in particular I know he wants to ask you about.
Well, I tell you, in my recollection, Smoke Louser, who was worked for the Presbyterian Children's Home, okay, I was a big supporter of Presbyterian Children's Home. Smoke came to me one day and he says, "Look, I want to have a concert at Wilson Rozier, but I need $10,000 to get the band and get everything worked out." And I said, "Okay, Smoke, can you sell the tickets?" "Yes, sir, I can." Okay, we did. He did it. We did that for several years, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. Then we brought on big sponsors, Pepsi, Mike Dealey. You guys remember that?
Oh, Mike,
wonderful
yeah,
guy.
great guy.
And then Keith Hudson from Taco Bell, and myself, and there was one other. I think it was First State Community Bank,
Community Bank,
maybe.
yes.
Okay, but we all put in $25,000 at the end before the chamber took it over. Okay, after that, I can't tell you what happened, but anyway, it was really good before all that happened.
And that's how it kind of got started. And you did bring some great names in.
Oh, yeah.
Like
We did.
Dolly Parton.
We brought
and
Dolly
others.
Parton in. I'll tell you a story about Dolly Parton.
Yes, please.
My dad, Sam, was president of Missouri Auto Dealers, and there was a dealer in Kennett, Missouri, Cowboy Richardson. I don't remember his first name, but everybody called him Cowboy. He's big, tall, wore cowboy boots. He was related to Dolly Parton. My dad talked Cowboy into getting Dolly Parton here, okay, for $0. She charged us nothing. Okay, all we had to pay was her band expenses and, of course, the room and all that. And she only wanted one room. It was. There's another story on that. Just bringing food to her room. Anyway, no, I didn't do it. It was someone else. But
Okay.
it's a great story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, yeah, we had David Unco. We had Waylon Jennings.
Right.
We had not Bellamy. We had the Elk Ridge Boys.
Yes.
We had a lot of stuff. This was a big deal. And Willadine Meyer, bless her soul, was one of the great people that started that. And she could talk me into anything, by the way.
You could talk a lot of people into
She
things.
talked me into starting the Missouri Pig Fest.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so that, yeah. Yeah. And all through this, my dad thought I was crazy, but he always went along with it. So thanks, Pop.
So you almost stole the show from Waylon Jennings.
We had, that's when it was at the fairgrounds.
Yes.
That's when it started going downhill, by the way, in my opinion. But at any rate, yeah, we had Waylon Jennings there. And I had an employee. His name was Gene Ramsey. In
Yes.
fact, his son,
Mike. Yeah.
okay, B1, not 104, but KFMO.
Yep.
Okay. Gene was what we call back then a detailer. Okay. We could give him the worst car we ever had. I'm telling you, it had hay in it. It had mud. He could make that car look. He could take a pig's ear and make it look like a silk purse. Okay.
Huh?
Anyway, he worked for us at least 40 years.
Right.
He retired. We gave him a brand new Ranger truck as a going away present.
Nice.
Okay.
Wow.
So Waylon agreed to present it to him on stage, and now, Mark, it's up to you.
Well, okay, now this portion of the podcast is rated PG-13. And I remember Waylon asking if anybody from Scism Ford was in the audience, and Kent came walking up to the stage, and Waylon looked at him and said, "Are you Sam Scism?" And you said, "No, I'm his brother, Circum." And Waylon, without thinking, says, "Well, circumcision, it's nice to..." And then he stops. He says, "Son, you might want to be awful proud of yourself because it's not too often you pull one over on old Waylon. And the crowd starts laughing, and without missing a beat, and this is where it gets PG-13, Waylon Jennings says, and I quote, "Now somebody throw this sumbitch out of here."
But he didn't really mean that.
It was great.
He did, 'cause it was good.
It was great. I saw Willie Dean while you were up there at the stage, and Willie Dean had her lips really pursed tight. She was not pleased with that conversation.
No.
Because Willie Dean, I don't care if she was at the concert on Saturday night till 3 a.m, she would always be up and at church the next day.
Oh, yeah, she was.
She would always be at church.
Always at Mass.
She was not. She was not a fan of the foul language. But between Kent and Waylon, we had no hope that day.
Yeah. Well, you remember we had David Allen Coe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, here's something you might not know, and I didn't see this myself, but I was told it was true. They had to tape his fingers to the guitar because he was so drunk he couldn't play.
My.
And they had a guy behind him playing the guitar. I didn't see that. Maybe it's because I had a drink or two.
That's what happened with Waylon, but not because he was drunk, because he was ill.
Yeah, he was ill.
This was right before he passed.
Yeah.
He didn't really play much in the way of musical instruments. In fact, they had to have a lift chair, bring him up, and put him on the stage.
Huh.
And but I got to meet him backstage.
He was a
and
nice
talk to
guy.
him. He was awesome, and he always insisted on getting paid in cash.
Yeah.
Before
Really?
the show.
Well, yeah, he didn't want to pay the IRS.
Yeah. And he wanted cash. He wanted cash. That's a great memory.
We
for
had
me.
all those years we had all those good acts come in. Every one of them to a T was so nice.
Yes.
They were and they're coming to a small town, okay? And we didn't have the best accommodations at that time. We had maybe one or two hotels. They didn't bitch at all. No,
Yeah.
it was good, okay? And we treated them good. And Willa Dean made sure of that, by the way.
Yes.
Okay, she,
They ate well.
Yep. Then we did the Pig Fest, and then, of course, that was a different story. But, yeah.
But the Pig Fest was kind of fun, though.
Kind of fun?
Yeah. Because I wasn't like you and Dick Womack. You guys were the organizers and had to do all the headaches. I just got to show up and have fun and broadcast.
Now you said, let me tell you what Dick Womack did for that deal.
Okay.
He brought in the engineer.
Kevin Brooks.
Kevin Brooks. Okay. I still have a reel of his extension cord that he made.
Yeah.
They were this big.
All right.
And they're like 14 gauge, 10, I don't know, big stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So he did all that, and he was a judge. He was a Memphis May judge. Did you know that?
Yes.
Dick was, yeah.
Yes.
So he knew what he was doing, or at least he thought he knew what he was doing. Okay.
He put out the airs that he knew what he was doing.
So, but he had the credentials. So we had all that, and then by the time the last year that we had it, okay, we had like 14 teams, I think, maybe 16. We had from South Haven, Mississippi. We had a lot of teams, a lot of places, okay, and this is kind of how the success it was. We sold like 20 kegs of beer in 2 days. So
that sounds about right.
But everybody, we had 14 acres out there. Okay, we took all the cars out, did all that, and it was a big deal. I'm glad Willa Dean talked me into it. I think I survived it. So anyway, yeah, that was a my dad was here a long time. He came here in '55.
Yeah.
So he used to give Shetland ponies away. And guess who had to break them? Me. To this day, I hate Shetland ponies. And I will tell you that more times than not, somebody would come back within 2 weeks, maybe 3. Will you take this damn pony back?
Yeah.
They didn't want it. Mean. Man, they were mean.
You could have had your own Shetland pony farm.
Can I tell you something else about my dad?
Absolutely.
All right. He used to rent out the Rosen Theater in Park Hills. Okay. I don't know if it was Rosen then or not. But anyways, for Christmas time, okay? And we'd have 2 shows, matinee and then one later in the day. And he would dress up as Santa Claus, but he would get up on stage, and he thought of some weird stuff. He'd make them eat crackers and try to whistle. Stuff like that, okay? But I remember one time he's walking down the aisle, and his belt kind of broke, and his pants just
oh no,
right there. just walking down there, yeah. Didn't faze him a bit, he just, I ran down there, I was like 15 years old, 14, I was driving him around, I shouldn't have been. Yeah. So we got him all buttoned back up, but he did a lot of stuff. I tell you what, Middle Area College. You remember when they went from Flat River to over where they are? Mm-hmm. He took out a full page ad for Middle Area College, wanting people to vote for that bond issue.
Huh.
Okay.
Wow.
And Dixie Cohn, I think, was the guy in charge then.
Yeah.
And Dixie asked him to do that. He did, and. He did a lot of stuff that not a lot of people know. I mean, Carter.
He probably wanted it that way, though,
He
right?
always treated me square, and that's what I always liked.
He was. Well, yeah. He could be a bit of a, but.
He's also a businessman too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We need to have you on again and just kind of talk about we can talk about all kinds of stuff, but I think it'd be really interesting, kind of the history of Scism Ford, because it is such a historic business that. All these different things that Scism has been involved in over the years, I think would be really, really interesting for people that live in the area.
Here's something really interesting, okay?
Yeah?
I married Angie Fryman.
Right.
Her dad, Wendy Fryman.
Yes.
Okay. Ozark Auto Sales.
Right.
Pillar of the community.
Yeah.
Okay. He got the 110% award from KTJJ, I think.
A long time ago.
It's kind of weird the way that happened. She married, or I married into, whoever, whatever.
Right.
But it's
kind of like some Romeo and Juliet stuff there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like the two big auto families of the area. Man.
Let's get back to Lincoln Days.
Oh yeah, Lincoln Days. That's why we had you on.
What the heck?
We want to remind people of when and where and how to get tickets.
It's Saturday, April 26th at Mac Tech in the Cardinal Room, and you can get a hold of us through our Facebook page, St. Francis County Republican Central Committee, or you can come to our meeting Tuesday night, 6 p.m. at Weber Road.
First Tuesday of every month.
First Tuesday of every month.
At 6 p.m.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good. It's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for both of you.
Excellent.
Appreciate it.
Are we finished already?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We might hit stop and then record another podcast after that.
Before we go, world's biggest Jimmy Buffett fan right here.
How many times you seen him?
Oh, boy, I don't know. But I can tell you this. I knew his sister through a car dealer friend of mine who lived in Montana and sold his sister cars. She was married to Tom McGuane, the writer. But I'll tell you a story. Okay, we went to Memphis, to Mud Island. Okay,
Yeah.
We got tickets from Jimmy's sister, Lori. And I take my nephew, David Scism, and I think Mark Medley was his friend. They were like 14, 15, whatever.
Oh, boy.
So we go down there, and we're meeting a friend of mine who's a car dealer in Monticello, Arkansas, Benny Ryburn. He flies in. He flies in right before the Hemisphere Dancer, which is Buffett's plane, was coming in, because he said they told me to come in hot because the plane was coming. So we get there, and instead of going right into the gate, we stay outside and do a little tailgating like Parrot Heads do.
Sure.
Well, we didn't realize we had backstage passes that night.
Oh no.
So we missed that.
Oh no.
Okay. So that was not a good thing. But yeah, I've seen him a lot of times. In fact, I've been a couple of times where he has Buffett on the beach. His daughter Savannah Jane. It was a fundraiser for her school down there in Florida, and it was at the Breakers. 250 people only. First time I ever met Terry McAuliffe and a lot of Democratic operators. Which kind of soured my taste on that. But anyway, yeah, I've seen him a lot. Took my daughter, my daughter and her friend she went to Ole Miss. Both of them did. Took them to see Jimmy, and my friend's daughter was so enamored she tried to get on stage like 3 times to see him.
Wow.
Favorite Buffett song?
What's that?
Favorite Buffett song?
Oh boy, you had to be Little Miss Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
God's
Reminds
own
me of my
drunken,
daughter.
fearless man.
Yeah.
Very
That's
good.
a good one too. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate both of you. Kit Scism, Laura
Thank
Smith,
you.
St. Francis County Republican Central Committee, Lincoln Days coming up April 26th at the Mac Tech Center.
Farmington, Missouri, your destination for a perfect weekend getaway. Dine in at one of our quality restaurants or visit one of our surrounding wineries. Farmington offers a variety of parks and other recreational leisure time activities. See some sights, have some fun, and go wherever your heart takes you. Sounds like a lot of fun, so get a room and stay a while. All this and more awaits you just 60 miles south of St. Louis. Discover Farmington today.
They said it couldn't be done. They said the world would never accept a cookie this long, or pretzel, and probably not a churro. They also said, under no circumstances should those really long and delicious treats be wildly affordable. Then we said, but we already made them, and they are. Introducing the incredible new foot-long sidekicks. Get one at Subway today.
Here is your musical segment for episode 42 here on the Parkland podcast. We talk about music and stuff. I did father-in-law talk to him at my niece's birthday party the other day. And he said he's ready to host the musical segment with your brother.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we just need to pick out a date. He said he's totally down. He would love to do that, and that would be a lot of fun. So this is the part of the podcast. We give a song, we give an album, and then we talk about some songs that kind of meet a certain kind of, I don't know, niche, if you will. So song of the week. Who is your song of the week this week?
Song of the week is The Heart of the Matter from Don Henley.
Oh, yeah.
Huge hit. Huge hit. Went to number 2 on the charts. But it's the album that it came off of, The End of the Innocents. What an album. I have it on CD somewhere.
So when we switch to CDs instead of albums, you'll be able to pull that out.
We're going to have to
maybe.
really learn how to focus in, though, because CDs are about a third of the size. End of the Innocents is not on that. The Last Worthless Evening, a New York Minute. But the thing that I found quite interesting, and I did not realize until just now, there's a song on there called I Will Not Go Quietly, which is a really good song, was never released as a single. Axl Rose appeared on that song with Don Henley.
Really?
And I did not know that.
Oh, boy.
So there you go, a little trivia.
Huh.
What song did Don Henley and Axl Rose do together?
I Will Not Go
I
Quietly.
Will Not Go Quietly, which is a great song. By the way, my album is Neil Young and Crazy Horse Live Rust. Might as well be a greatest hits album for Neil Young, one of my favorite performers. Everything from The Needle and the Damage Done to Cortez the Killer and Cinnamon Girl, Like a Hurricane. Listen to the live version of Like a Hurricane. And if you have any doubts at all about the abilities of Neil Young as a guitar player, that song will definitely take care of that. But this is one fantastic album, Live Rust, Neil Young, and Crazy Horse.
For Song of the Week this week, I have selected Caledonia by Robin Trower from the 1976 album Long Misty Days. Caledonia has, in my mind, some of the best wah pedal action in the history of rock and roll.
One of the few songs from Robin Trower that I really can say I like, and that's Caledonia.
Yeah, pretty good. And I always liked, playing it at B104 because we would broadcast into Caledonia, our tower not too far away from that magical place. So there you go. Robin Trower's 1976 release, Caledonia, as your song. All right, so for the albums, I'm burning through Grandma's collection now.
Oh,
and
Grandma.
I have Charlie Pride, Did You Think to Pray? Look at him. He's so serious on this album cover. Look at he's
It's a gospel album.
It's a
He's
guy.
trying to look serene.
That's right. This is Charlie Pride's gospel album. Kiss an Angel Good Morning is not on here, but I brought my glasses this week, so I'm going to pop these on so I can look at the back of this and not have to hand it to you, and then you use your glasses. But this also has All Fly Away, Jesus Don't Give Up on Me, The Church in the Wildwood, which
could be the theme for the podcast.
Yeah,
by
no,
the way.
Jesus Don't Give Up on Me. The Church in the Wildwood, which I know was one of Grandma and Grandpa's favorite songs. So there you go, Charlie. And then somebody wrote, My Wreck Kidders, I think, is My Ricketers. I don't know what this is on here. It's written in some weird ancient scroll called cursive, and I can't read it very well. But anyway, somebody wrote that on the record, so there you go. All right, so for your, take the glasses off, man. There we go. Songs that have a day of the week in the title. That's our prompt for this week. What were some of the songs that you came up with?
I tried to do this all from memory. And
Okay.
I did a pretty good job, I think. I Don't Like Mondays from the Boomtown Rats.
Tell me why.
Yes, Monday, Mamas and the Papas. I've got Saturday Nights All Right for Fighting from Elton John. Ruby Tuesday from the Rolling Stones. And Sunday, Bloody Sunday from U2.
We talked about Manic Monday, I guess, in trivia last week, the song written by Prince and made famous by the Bangles. Friday, I'm in Love. That was, oh, crap. Why am I blanking out on Friday, I'm in Love, the name of the band? The Cure. Oh, The Cure were not a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, I know.
There's people that still dress like The Cure, like all the time.
Yeah, not me, though.
So that was a big one. You mentioned Monday, the Mamas and the Papas. Tuesday Afternoon by, and now I'm blanking on Moody Blues. Then, of course, Tuesday's Gone with the Wind by Leonard Skinner. Have you ever seen the movie Dazed and Confused?
Yeah.
What the very last scene when they're getting ready to cruise to Houston to get them Aerosmith tickets.
Yes.
They play that song and just how it kind of ramps up and that guitar solo hits as they're hitting the highway. What a great use of music in a movie. And I remember that movie came out like my senior year of high school, and we watched that thing all the time. And it felt like it was an accurate representation of a small town Friday night.
Yeah, except for the getting beat up part.
Oh, you guys didn't fight a bunch on Friday nights?
Just at the drive-in movie when we weren't looking for chicks.
Oh, okay. Because there's a lot of fighting in Bonne Terre, but I think it's the lead. I think that's why. Let's see. What else do we have? Wednesday. There's not a lot of Wednesday songs. Can you think of any Wednesday songs? I can't.
The only Wednesday I can think of is Wednesday Addams from the Addams Family.
Yeah, she never had
Saturday
a song.
in the Park. How could I leave that
Saturday in the Park. Sunday Morning Coming Down.
Johnny Cash.
Play that on
Written by
J98. Chris Christopherson. Chris Christopherson. And then there was it the Bay City Rollers that had SATURDAY night.
We could have gone all podcast long without that one.
Oh man. And then yes, I think I got every day of the week except for Wednesday. And there's got to be a Wednesday song. There's a Wednesday morning. What is that? Larimore that did, or Macklemore, Larimore, whatever. I guess that's probably a song that people would know. But other than that, I think we did a pretty good job covering that. You got one for next week?
I still get that about the early part of the week. So.
Okay, that's whenever that comes to mind. So yeah, we'll look forward to doing that as well. April Fool's Day. We didn't do anything April Fool-y in the podcast.
Is there a bigger joke than these two faces?
I guess that's true. I know I asked you in between recording sessions today, did you ever do any kind of April Fool's jokes when on the radio all those years?
I just make funky weather forecasts.
You'd say like it was going to be 179 degrees and
more snow.
More snow. Yeah.
Because people were more sick of snow by then.
Yeah, that is true. One year at B104, Kelly Valley and I created a fictional country music station called The Possum, and it took over B104 at 6 a.m. that morning. And I played the hickiest country music songs I could come up with, and Kelly recorded like little drops, little liners, and The Possum, and just how he said it in his Rich Woods voice was so good. And we had a couple people that were actually really upset. One guy in particular, I remember he worked at U.S. Tool, and he called, and he's, I can get 3 radio stations in this building, and they are J98, Froggy 96, and B104, and I do not like country music, and I do not like where this is.
He was not happy.
Oh, he was so mad. And then at 8 o'clock, we ripped into Been a Long Time Since I Rock and Rolled by Led Zeppelin.
Good segue.
And then just let it roll back to normal like that. One year, Gib Collins and Greg Camp switched the frequencies, and they put B104 on 1240's frequency.
Probably gave a few people heart attacks.
Yeah, I know. Put KFMO on B104's frequency, and that was their April Fool's joke. One year, KC95, I think it was Favaz, did his entire show backwards. Like he recorded, I guess he voice tracked it, and then he played all of his cuts backwards on the air. So those were just some April Fool's radio pranks that came to mind that I've either seen or done or have heard.
Never really did much with that, though.
Yeah, well, you had the shepherd philosophy for most of your time there, and then those kind of things, I think that standard was set up and so synonymous with the radio station, they weren't much, into pranking.
They frowned on things like that.
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely. So yeah, it was interesting to try a few things, and I mean, I'm sure did it happen on April Fool's Day when Randy Raley did the jets over Eureka or Arnold, like there were fighter jets flying over Arnold?
Was that Randy Raley or was that John Hewlett?
That was Randy Raley, but John Hewlett had a part in that too, because didn't he lose his job with the Cardinals for a little bit because of that?
Yeah, he did something and he got in trouble for it.
Yeah, so those radio pranks can sometimes go wrong, so you got to be careful. And I thought about doing several different podcast pranks, and then I ran out of time.
Yeah.
I need to, go to work next week. So anyways, there you go. Show next week. Who are we talking to? Do you remember off the top of your head?
Yeah, we hope to have Jack and Elizabeth Poston in
Great.
to talk about Feed My Sheep, which is right around the corner.
Yeah, and maybe a few political candidates will join us as well. Again, we've invited everybody in the mayoral races running to speak with us, and we've gotten most of them. But we might have another one for you, and maybe a surprise guest.
Never know.
We should probably start doing that. Have a surprise guest, like one of them be a surprise or something. And then I don't tell you or you don't tell me, and they just show up.
This is your life.
Yeah, well.
Does this voice sound familiar?
Oh, boy. Then we better not do that. This is where we always throw out all these ideas here right at the end to really reward you for listening all the way to the end of the podcast.
Thank you.
Have a great week. Be sure to like, subscribe, and download, and we'll see you next week.